There aren't many places where people living with cancer can just spend time together, where everyone knows what it's like and no one has to pretend. So we created one, the Macmillan Online Community. It's a safe, anonymous online forum. It's full of help, blogs and support, and it's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Join the Macmillan Online Community.
Are you one of the 1.5 million UK customers that have used MedExpress for your healthcare journey? If not, accessing treatments for sexual health is now easier than ever. You don't need to visit your GP or pharmacy. Just complete a short online consultation to find the right treatment for you. We'll send your treatment directly to your door, delivered to you in discreet packaging with ongoing support from our experienced UK-based medical team. Take the first step towards managing your health concerns with confidence. Visit medexpress.co.uk to learn more.
At Lidl, there's always a reason for Christmas cheer. Like switching this week's big shop from Asda to Lidl and saving £20. See the shop at lidl.co.uk/usave and pick up all your favourites. Lidl, more to value. Prices checked 1st of the 12th, 25. Asda also sell other products. See online for more details.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as World Cup excitement meets bread and butter domestic football. Brazil, Morocco, Haiti planning all underway. But today it's about Dundee, Aberdeen, St Mirren, Dundee United, Hibs, Falkirk and Motherwell Livingston in the top flight. Rangers at Kilmarnock comes this evening. Then a top of the table clash for Wilfried Nancy's first game in charge of Celtic as they welcome Hearts tomorrow. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me this afternoon you have Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
World Cup fever has broken the thermometer already. I can tell you from personal experience, Gordon, that I went to the railway station this morning. There was a lady there, forgive me, but she was in her 60s, talking to another lady, forgive me, who was clearly in her 70s, and we're talking about the World Cup draw. That's what's gripped the nation, but as you rightly say, lots of things going on. Apart from that, Motherwell could go 3 points ahead of Rangers if they beat Livy today, and that puts Danny Rule under more pressure at Kilmarnock tonight because the natives are getting restless. And all of that before we get to Wilfried Nancy. 60,000 sellout crowd tomorrow. Celtic versus Hearts. Daz, what can you say other than sacre bleu?
Yeah, it's been a brilliant weekend so far. I'm looking forward to the fixtures today, but all eyes last night firmly on who we're going to get. What are we going to get, a glamour game in the World Cup? Certainly got that. Brazil. Looking forward to it already.
Yeah, can't wait. I think it's a brilliant draw. Exciting times ahead. Everyone's absolutely buzzing, speaking about it now. So yeah, I think we've got a big build-up of 6 months before we get to the tournament, and all eyes are on where we're going to be playing later on today.
Cannot wait. So much to get through in the Premiership and beyond today, because there's some great fixtures down the divisions as well. A cracker to preview for later, an even bigger cracker, if that such a thing exists, tomorrow. How many ingredients do you need? A top of the table clash and a new Celtic manager in the East End of Glasgow tomorrow. So much to get through, so stay with us between now and 6 o'clock. You can contribute all day on Twitter at Clyde SSB, and of course you know what Saturday afternoons are for. I'll give you the nod when the phone lines are open a bit later, and you can get in touch and speak to the panel. I had to laugh there almost very unprofessionally interrupted your lovely introduction there when you said all eyes were on the World Cup draw last night. Judging by the way I left you at the Cash for Kids lunch yesterday afternoon, I'm not convinced you saw the World Cup draw last night.
And you'd be correct in what you were saying there. I'd wake up this morning and say to myself, did I see that World Cup
so
draw?
all eyes apart from yours
Your eyes,
on the World Cup draw.
Yeah, well, I had an exciting day out yesterday.
£371,000 raised
There
for
you go.
disadvantaged children in our local communities. So
Yeah.
you put your body on the line,
Put
you made some
everything on the line.
sacrifices to make sure the kids got the money.
Yeah, and you caught me out once again. I'm quite happy.
Can a man not have a day out?
Me. I loved it, Hugh, and as Gordon quite rightly said, the response from inside that hall last night is incredible. The amount of money they raised for Cash for Kids.
Well, we had George
Brilliant.
Bowie on SuperScoreBoard last night. You'd have missed it, but anyway, we had George Bowie on who raised amazing money yesterday. And then he and I went down memory lane because he and I, on the Champs-Élysées, 1998, doing the Bowie at Breakfast show for this station. So there you are, 28 years ago. And George came in and joined us in the studio last night.
Brilliant day of football ahead. I mentioned those top flight fixtures: Motherwell, Livy, Dundee, Aberdeen, St Mirren, Dundee United, Hibs, Falkirk, Kelly Rangers later, Celtic Hearts tomorrow, and some crackers in the Championship and beyond. But going to break the habit, going to rip up the usual format. We usually go round the grounds first, then reflect on the biggest stories of the week. It just feels wrong. It feels like World Cup fever has swept the nation. We can get the team news very soon. There is no harm in that, but let's start with that World Cup draw because it's fresh in everybody's memory. Hugh Keevins, Brazil, Morocco, Haiti. It was, well, two things. The draw itself was horrific, utterly horrific in every which way. But once it got to drawing the balls out, it was a real privilege for us, me, you and Scott Allen, to be on air at the time when the balls came out. What did you make of it?
I think you've used the correct word there, privilege. I regard it as a privilege to see Scotland at a World Cup again after a 28-year wait. And I regard it as a privilege to play Brazil in my lifetime. And I go back to the 1958 World Cup when I was called from a tenement window to come upstairs and see this. And it was Pele, a teenager, and Brazil in Sweden. And from 1958 until the present day, I regard Scotland playing Brazil as one of the best things that can ever happen to us. And Morocco, 28 years spent looking for revenge for that 3-0 defeat in Saint Etienne, which ended our 1998 World Cup. Pleasure to go and play them again, even though they're ranked 11th in the world. And Haiti, story of our lives. You show us a team who are way below us in the world rankings, and we'll show you a potential slip-up. But the whole World Cup experience, and I was speaking to a pal of mine today who's booked hotels in Boston, hotels in New York, flights to New York, flights to Boston. The whole experience will be, I think, at an unprecedented level for us.
I mean, Cammy, there's so many ways of looking at it. That's the beauty. You've got what it means to us kind of professionally in the media and working, and what it'll mean to Scottish football. I mean, you're telling us you're just going to go. You want to go with your dad. I mean, it's just an incredible prospect, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, it's amazing. The excitement started before yesterday, but then it's just came to another level again. You've got the draw. You know who you're facing. Brazil. Listen, we know how world class they are. They're maybe not the Brazil of old at this moment in time, but certainly by the time the tournament comes round, I'm pretty sure they'll have dusted themselves down, and they'll be a really tough opposition. But Morocco's the one that I look at, and they are a very, very good side. So all exciting for me. There's no negative about the draw. I think you've just got to be excited about looking forward to playing these teams. I was once on the bench against Brazil for Scotland.
Really?
So yes, many moons ago. So yeah, so that was an experience.
You'll get a shirt swap
What's
now.
up with that? Did you get Sunday strip?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Who would play with Brazil at that time then?
Well, Neymar played. Yeah, it was down at Emirates.
Yeah, remember, that's the one Mark Wilson swapped the jersey and they gave him it back.
Yeah. I'm to you as well.
So no, listen, it's exciting times for Scotland fans. They'll be absolutely buzzing. Brilliant. And just a quick one for everyone who's got in touch, urging me to ask Gordon Dalziel the same question that Tam Cowan asked Ali McCoist about Brazilians. I'm not going to go there, so we'll just move on and talk about the football if you don't mind. Roger Hanna, the World Cup draw, talk to me.
Absolutely fantastic, Gordon, and not just because I won the sweepstake in the Scottish Sun Sports Desk when we pulled out Brazil yesterday afternoon. I loved the draw, but it's terrific. It is the glamour of Brazil. It's a bit of the glamour of Morocco, because you're talking Hamza Egeman, you're talking Ashraf Hakimi, who won the Champions League with PSG and is probably the best player in the world at the minute. You're talking about the chance to avenge 1998 in St Etienne. And you're talking about the chance to make history, Gordon. If we can beat Haiti in the first game in the middle of June, with the way it's set up, the 48-team tournament, 32 teams progress, 8 of the 12 third-place teams will get through. If we beat Haiti, we might get to a knockout stage at a World Cup finals for the first time ever. I think it's a terrific draw.
Yeah, there's so many ways of looking at it, David Fuel. Let's try and sort of separate it. Let's go the sporting merits first that Roger has kicked us off with. How difficult is it? How doable is it? What do we make of the actual football test that came out of that draw last night?
It's very difficult. I mean, Brazil are Brazil. I mean, I don't think I'm allowed to say they're there for the taking. They clearly don't have the Zicos, Romarios, Ronaldo, all those guys, but they're still a very good team. Morocco, for me, are the ones who could go deep into the tournament, Gordon. They got to the semi-finals last time. I think they're unbeaten in World Cup qualifying. They're the favourites to win the AFCON that's coming up just now. They're a very good team. So it's going to be hard to finish in the top two. However, I actually think, if you talk about the sporting sense, I think having Haiti as the first game is really favourable, because we saw what happened at the Euros last year. We were all, worked up for playing Germany in the first game, and bang, 5-0, there you go. So I think having Haiti first, we've got a chance to take out 28 years of frustration on Haiti and go and get the win. And as Roger said, 3 points might be enough. If you can then get to the final game against Brazil, and Brazil might be through at that stage and even get a draw, you're definitely through. So I actually think in a sporting sense it's tough, but the order of the games might help us.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some easier groups, if you like, when you were looking through it. People spoke about the host nations, USA, and then Australia were the pot 2 team in that group, and you're thinking that's doable. Paraguay as well, still a playoff winner to get into that group. So there are certainly weaker groups. There might be 1 or 2 that are harder overall. But David, does the strength of Morocco as your pot 2 team, is that ultimately what makes this draw tough? I think we all acknowledge you could have got a slightly more difficult pot 1 team than Brazil, but the pot 2 teams, Morocco would be right up there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's maybe the balance, because I think we've got a decent pot 4 team in Haiti, but Morocco, it wasn't until they came out and you start looking a bit deeper and you think, wait a minute, they're 11th in the world. Then you start looking at the players, then you actually remember how well they did in 2022. Roger ran through some of the players, and they might not, obviously Hakimi, they might not have one standout forward. I mean, they do have Brahim Diaz from Real Madrid, but they're just a great team, very much together. And as I said, I don't think they've lost a competitive game in nearly 2 years, so they'll be very, very tough opponents.
Yeah, I mean, Roger, you always do that. You go through the other groups and sort of look at which ones are tougher, which ones are so-called easier. The problem is it's quite difficult because you've got certain restrictions on how many UEFA nations can go into certain groups and so on, but it became quite clear, didn't it, as it was going along. It was looking like Group C. It started to really point you in that direction.
It certainly did, and Gordon, I said to myself before the draw, it didn't matter how easy, how tough it looked. The important thing is we were there, and we should not be sitting here saying, oh, that's a tough draw, that's terrible, we won't qualify. We're in the finals. We've just had one of the greatest ever nights at Hampden. We've put 4 goals past Denmark, 3 of the best goals you will ever see a Scotland team scoring. If we cannot be excited about going to take on Brazil, Morocco and Haiti in the United States, and it's the east coast of the States, it's glamour venues, it's wonderful stadiums, it should be slightly less expensive for the Tatlami to get there than if they were going to Mexico or the west coast of America. I think it's absolutely fabulous. I think we should look forward to it. We can beat Haiti, and you just never know. We might get more than 3 points, but 3 points might get us through, and then you're talking a historical achievement.
And Roger Hanna's very brilliantly taken us on to the next element of this, Hugh Keevins. We said sporting. Let's talk about the sporting element of it. Now you go on to location, logistics, venues, and as Roger said there, all East Coast based. You're looking at New York or Boston, Philadelphia perhaps, Miami or Atlanta for the final game. I mean, Brazil in Miami, the prospect of that, or the opening game being in New York, we find out 5 o'clock today is when it all gets confirmed. Because that is an important element of this, whether we like it or not. The World Cup's getting bigger and bigger in various senses. It could have been Mexico, it could have been Canada. This would all have led to very different experiences. So some glamour venues as well.
I cling to my belief that there will be the greatest migration of Scotland fans ever witnessed for a major international tournament, and I think many people will go minus tickets, unable to afford tickets, but simply to be there, to be in Miami when the samba starts, and then men and women with painted faces come around the corner and George Bowie gets bits and pieces going. So it will be, for me, the most cosmopolitan, most exciting World Cup that we have ever participated in. And as you rightly say, if we're talking New York, Boston, Philadelphia, these are places who embrace Scots like they embrace the Irish, and they will welcome us. And as for Haiti, playing them, Roger and I go back a bit, and we can remember when Scotland played Zaire and everyone thought, oh no, beat them. And then we got New Zealand and everyone said, oh, and took 5 off them. But then we got Peru, totally underestimated them and lost 2-0. So Iran, still ingrained in my memory, 1-1. And we didn't even score our goal, it was an own goal. We will live the way we always live, by the seat of our pants, and the fans will go and they'll be exactly the same, and it will be a glorious once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah, I mean, David, as we alluded to there, this is just a personal preference thing. Some people might have preferred to go to Canada or Mexico or the West Coast or whatever, which is absolutely fine. But for a number of reasons, there are various elements to where our games are going to be that are really appealing and should add to the occasion.
I would say it's perfect, Gordon, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, look, there was I know there was a bit of a move to go into one of the host nations potentially and play elsewhere, but if you just look at Boston, New York, Miami, as you said, can you imagine that? And even Atlanta and a place like that. Look, it's perfect for the Tartan Army, it's perfect. Hopefully kick-off times are favourable for us back home as well, covering it. But look, it's just ideally, I think in a sporting sense it's good, and I think in terms of the fans, in terms of everything else, I think it's perfect.
Cammy, again, you've been planning it already. You're having a wee look at when you can go and when you can. It totally adds to it, doesn't it? The locations that stare the Scotland fans in the face.
Yeah, listen, as a Scotland fan myself, that's where I was looking again. I think the accessibility, where we're going to play our games, I think really favourable towards Scotland fans getting over there. Hopefully they can get as many over as possible now, because again, if you were going over the other side of the country, the expenses start to grow, and I think the numbers would have dwindled down a bit. But listen, the Tartan Army, I think, will be delighted with where the draw's been favourable for us in the stadiums, because they're fantastic stadiums, brilliant cities, and yeah, listen, everyone's so excited about it.
Just thinking though, you very nearly ended it all, not in a sort of life sense, but I mean professionally, in Cologne last year. Do you think you can be trusted in Miami?
Absolutely not. I don't know why anybody would trust me in Miami. I've been there. I've never been to New York, I've got to say. My own preference was, my favourite city's Toronto, but now it's in America. These cities, as Cammy quite rightly says, brilliant to be. Just the excitement of being in there, and obviously playing the Brazilians.
See, having been to Miami, I can confirm, if we play Brazil in Miami in the summer,
you'll never see me again.
South Beach,
I can confirm that.
South Beach, Miami will finish you forever. Okay, and that's all that needs to really be said on the matter. And Roger Hannah, to finish on a slightly lighter, tongue-in-cheek note, it's very telling that we're still so excited and so looking forward to it, even after how bad that draw was last night.
Yeah, I think about 6:30 last night, maybe slightly later, I would have taken Gordon Dale at the Cash for Kids lunch before the village people, That just finished it off, but no need for them, no need for Robbie Williams or Nicole Scherzinger. Certainly no need for Donald Trump getting his award from his pal Johnny Infantino. Just get the draw made, tell us who we're getting, tell us where we're going. Less of the kerfuffle, more of football, please.
Has anyone cleared up why Rio Ferdinand's role in it all, as to why that was a thing, how it came to be, and why it played out the way it did?
I have no idea. I'm not normally lost for words, but that one's beaten me. With the whole of the American continent saying, "Who's that guy?" But anyway, as Roger rightly says, Cammy has said two things today that set you back. He said, "I was on the bench against Brazil." How many guys wander into the studio and say that to you? But Cammy also said, "We've got 6 months to talk about this," and that's absolutely correct. For the next half a year, we are going to be on about the merits and demerits of what took place last night.
And it all feels really relevant today because, like we said, 5 o'clock, so stay with us. We'll be on, obviously, beyond that. That's when we get confirmation of the details, the exact times and locations, and that's when it really heats up. I know people are hedging their bets and booking flights and whatever already, but that is when you know for sure. So stay tuned for that. When we return, though, we go round the grounds, we get back to the bread and butter. South Beach, Miami for Gordon Dalziel can wait. It's all about Dens Park, the Smiza Stadium, Easter Road and Fir Park when we return.
Unwrap daily surprises this December with the Lidl Plus Advent Calendar. Every day until Christmas, you could get exclusive offers like money off coupons and even the chance to win a year's free shopping. Check the Lidl Plus app every day to open 24 admissible offers. Lidl, more to value.
18 plus GB only while stocks last. Minimum spend required. Terms apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
So much excitement around Scottish football with that World Cup draw last night, and under 3 hours' time we'll find out the exact times and venues of the games. But that's not to say we don't have fantastic football to look forward to this afternoon. So let's go around the grounds. Plenty to look forward to there. Motherwell Livingston seems like a good place to start for David Friel.
Yeah, it should be a good game, Gordon. I've been warned not to jinx it by a member of the Motherwell staff, but I'm going to anyway. What a chance this is for Motherwell to get a win as they look to stay ahead of Rangers in third place. James Bertelascu's side unbeaten the last 7 league games, but I've had goalless draws with Hearts and Falkirk obviously over the last 7 days. However, I think it would be a shock if they hit a third blank in a row, and you would surely fancy them to be too strong for a struggling Livingston today. Motherwell have won their last 4 against David Martindale's side, and Livingston haven't won here in the last 16 visits. You have to go way back to October 2002 for their last Fir Park win. It's incredible really, and they even poked fun at themselves for that record on social media earlier, saying it's been a while. History is on Motherwell's side, but so is current form. Livingston haven't won a league game since beating Falkirk in early August. They are 13 without a win. They are bottom of the table with just 8 points, and they really need to be careful that they don't get cut adrift. It all points to a Motherwell win. However, we probably shouldn't write off David Martindale's side. He feels they should be doing a lot better. They've had some injury issues, but it's a really tough game for them today. There's going to be a big Motherwell crowd again after last weekend, and I think the fact they're sitting third position just a couple of weeks before Christmas says everything about the job that the manager has done. He's been outstanding. And he also likes to freshen up his team. I know Gordon Dalziel likes that about him, and he's done so again today with 7 changes. It's easy to actually say that Callum Ward, Paul McGinn, Lucas Fadinger and Tawanda Maswanisi are the 4 survivors from the Falkirk game in midweek. So it's like Callum Ward in goal, Stephen O'Donnell, Paul McGinn, Liam Gordon and Johnny Katrumbis at the back. Lucas Fadinger, Elliot Watt at the base of the midfield with Tawanda Maswanisi, Elijah Just, Regan Charles Cook and Apostolos Stamatolopoulos up front. Subs for Motherwell are Connolly, Slattery, Sparrow, Priestman, Ross, Longello, Welsh, Hendry and Said. As for Livingston, they had a free midweek, and David Martindale's actually stuck with the team that lost 1-0 to Aberdeen last weekend. So it's Jerome Prior in goals, back 4 of Samson Lawal, Daniel Finlayson, Danny Wilson and Christian Montano, Macaulay Tate and Mamadou Sissoko at the base of their midfield with Lewis Smith, Scott Pittman and Stevie May in behind Teti Yengi. Subs for Liver, Hamilton, McGowan, Muirhead, Carey, Brennett, Winter, Bokia, Shinnie and Silla. The referee is Ryan Lee, and the VAR at Fir Park is Andrew Dallas.
So plenty to look forward to there between Motherwell and Livingston. Let's go get team news from St Mirren, Dundee United. Roger Hanna's there.
Yeah, and it's the Nuns' last game, Gordon, before that Premier Sports Cup final against Wilfred Nancy's Celtic at Hampden in just 8 days' time. And what chance. They run into our buddy's legend in Jim Goodwin, the last man to lift that trophy as club captain back in 2013. St Mirren, they grabbed a last gasp point at Aberdeen on Wednesday night with substitute Richard King netted after 99 minutes to get a 3-3 draw. At the same time, United were dropping a couple of points in the 98th minute at home to Rangers when Will Ferry chopped down Max Aarons, and of course Nadine Bajrami scored from the spot for a 2-2 draw. It's still St Mirren have just one win from 9. They sit uncomfortably in that relegation playoff place, just 3 points clear of that Livingston side that David just told you about. United also just one win from 9, and they sit in the 8th place, 5 points off Falkirk in the last of those top 6 places. It's hardly a clash of two in-form sides. I saw United beat the Buddies 3-1 at Tannadice in the reverse fixture in October, but St Mirren were really good for the first 45 minutes before the sort of collapsed afterwards. Zach Sapsford and Amar Fata among the goals that day, as they were against Rangers in midweek. So for St Mirren, 3 changes from Pittodrie on Wednesday. That late goal scorer Richard King starts in place of Jayden Richardson. Declan John is fit again to take over from Scott Tanser, and Conor McMenamin preferred in midfield to Keanu Bacchus. So it's Shamal George in goal, the back 3, Marcus Fraser, Alec Gogic and Miguel Freckleton. Then Richard King on the right, Declan John on the left, Killian Phillips and Fraser Taylor between them, and Conor McMenamin just behind the front two of Michael Mandron and Jonah Ayunga. On the bench, Mullen, Richardson and Tanser, Bacchus, Edowu and Dykesteel, Mooney and Lundaloo, and Scotland youth striker Luke Douglas, who's involved in the first team squad for the very first time. United also make 3 changes after that Rangers draw. Captain Ross Graham is back in for Bert Esselink. Craig Sibbald come in for the injured Pan Kamara, and former St Mirren player Ryan Strange starts ahead of midweek goal scorer Fata. So it's Dave Richards in goal. It's a back 3, Yuri Yovu, Ross Graham and Christian Kereses. Across the middle, Ryan Strain, Lucas Stevenson, Vico Savell, Craig Sibbald and Will Ferry, and up top Sapsford and Nikolai Muller. On the bench, Adams, Esselink and Trapanovsky, Fata, Dolchik and Sturton, Beattie and Cleo Harding. The ref is Nick Walsh and Navarre is Ross Hardy.
Hibs against Falkirk, also an intriguing one over there at Easter Road. Tom Grant has the teams.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gordon and the team. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one here in Leith today for a number of reasons, but really because there's a wee bit of recent needle between these two, which makes for an intriguing top-tier match-up. You know, it's become one of those rivalries that pop up in Scottish football now and again between two teams that don't have any immediate geographical link, but for a few seasons their players and their fans just want to beat the other more than the other teams in the division, because of course in the mid-2010s these two teams battled it out for promotion from the Championship. A standout moment was that 2016 Premiership playoff semi-final where Falkirk beat Hibs 5-4 in aggregate after a dramatic second leg. And there was also, of course, if you remember, that Scottish Cup semi-final in 2013. Falkirk led 3-0 at half-time. Some Hib fans left, only for the High Bees to win 4-2, 4-3 in extra time. Lee Griffiths, the star of the show that day. So even a fraction of that kind of drama would be welcomed by this reporter here at Easter Road today. These two shared the spoils at the Falkirk Stadium earlier in the season in a match, it could be argued, really kick-started the Bairns into life when they came back from 2 down against David Gray's side. Before that match, Falkirk sat on 4 points and had lost to St Mirren and Livingston, but after that comeback draw, they've since beaten Kilmarnock and Dundee. Away wins at Motherwell and Dundee United, and drew with Rangers twice. So it was almost like that draw against one of the division's big boys gave them that confidence to feel like they belonged in this division. So John McGlynn makes just 2 changes to his starting lineup from that draw against Rangers at Ibrox last week. Out go Keelan Adams for Liam McCann, and Ethan Ross back in at the expense of Carell Wilson. He's playing a 4-2-3-1, so it's Scott Bain in goals, a back 4 of Liam McCann, Liam Henderson, Connor Allen and Philip Lissah, Dylan Tate and Brad Spencer in deeper midfield. Then it's Ethan Ross, Calvin Miller, Ethan Williams behind Brian Graham, who leads the attack for the second game on the trot. Subs are Hogarth, Hart, Yeats, Adjuman, Edwards, Samuel Ogasui, Arfield, Wilson and Cartwright. For Hibs, who only sit above Falkirk in 5th on goal difference, David Gray has lost his last 2 games to Motherwell and Celtic respectively. He makes 2 changes from that defeat at Celtic Park. It's Salinger in goals, Rocky Bashiri, Warren O'Hara and Jack Iredale come in. Jack Iredale comes in for Jordan Obita. In midfield it's Josh Mulligan, Chris Cadden, Daniel Barlaser comes in for Nicky Cadden and Miguel Shigua. Jamie McCarth sits behind Martin Boyle and Kieran Bowie. Subs are Smith, Hanley, Levitt, Johan, Newell, Hoylett, Mitchell, Megwa and Campbell. The Christmas songs have been blaring here at Easter Road, Gordon, but I can assure you there is going to be no Christmas cards exchanged by fans of these clubs, but this should be a cracker.
Looking forward to it greatly. What about Dundee, Aberdeen to round things off? Dave Galloway has the teams.
I was here last weekend, Gordon, at Dens Park, and Dundee played some good stuff to beat St Mirren. The D's also gave a pretty decent account of themselves at Celtic Park on Wednesday night, so it looks like they could have something to build on. Aberdeen on a 7-match unbeaten run in all competitions. In midweek they played some of their best football of the season against St Mirren, only for their defensive frailties to re-emerge, and conceding in the 99th minute at Pittodrie to draw 3-3 was clearly a blow to them. Dundee with a point to prove after a 4-0 thumping at Pittodrie the last time these two teams met. The Dons could climb back into the top 6 if they can get a victory, and they'll be cheered on incidentally by over 3,000 fans, which is quite remarkable when you look at their campaign so far, which has been most underwhelming. Looking at the teams then, and Dundee make 3 changes to their starting lineup. In come Astley, Kumetio and Ugan for Clark, Robertson, Samuels and Finn Robertson, so they start McCracken in goals. A back 4 of Astley, Graham, Kumetio and Wright. Midfield Congreve, Danda, Hamilton, Westley and Ugan, with Murray leading the attack. The subs are O'Hara, Ingram, Donnelly, Digby, Aqua, Finn Robertson, Hay, Samuels and Jones. Aberdeen, a couple of changes for them. Carlson and Lazetic in for Keskinen and Nisbet. They start Meatoff in goals. Across the back, Devlin, Milne and Canuster. Midfield, Lobben, Aushish, Polvara and Jensen, with Carlson and Armstrong supporting Lazetic in attack. The substitutes for the Dons: Suman, Shinnie, Helton and Nielsen, Clarkson, Bilalovic, Nisbet, Dorrington, Kjartansson and Keskinen. Match referee here at Dens is Grant Irvin, and John Beaton is on VAR.
Yeah, some fantastic fixtures today. We've got another game this evening. Let's give it a nod just for the first time. Of course, we'll preview it in more detail as the afternoon goes on. But Roger Hannah, Kelly Rangers, your thoughts?
I think it'll be a good game. There's no doubt about it. I was down speaking to Stuart Kettlewell at Rugby Park yesterday. I think he's got suspension and injury worries. It's been a sort of tough spell for Kilmarnock. 6 defeats. They've got out a couple of draws against United and Hearts in the last week. Rangers, I think, will have a chance of going down there. I know Danny Row's not a big fan of the synthetic surface, but I think Rangers might have a good chance of going down there and getting the points tonight. I saw them for Super Scoreboard against Falkirk on Sunday. They were appalling. And they were so much better at Tannadice in midweek. I know they didn't get the win. I know they had to scramble to get a point in the 98th minute with Bajrami's penalty, but they were much, much better. And I think of the addition of Mikey Moore, now he's fit again. If he's involved tonight, I think that will make them stronger. I do fancy an away win.
Probably should have started with former Kilmarnock and Rangers goalkeeper Cammy Bell for what it's worth. So your thoughts ahead of that one, Cammy? A few hours to go yet.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I think it will be a very competitive game. Kilmarnock, again, it's not been a great season for them so far. They've managed to rally around and pick up some points. That draw against Dundee United, as Roger said, and then they followed that up with a good draw away at Tynecastle against Hearts. So, and Rangers again, just really inconsistent. I don't think the quality they've got on the pitch is great, so I think that's going to be a tight affair. I really do. I can potentially see it being a draw today.
Listen, the top two play tomorrow, Hugh, as we know, and we'll get to that one. You don't know what combination of result or what result the Rangers fans prefer, but they need to take care of their own business, because for all the talk of things improving a bit under Danny Rule, and they did, and results picked up, the league cannot afford to get away. They cannot afford for the league to get away from them even further this early on.
They're 9 points behind Celtic, and that cannot be tolerated by the Rangers supporters. They have taken a harder look at Danny Rule, and everyone knows he's got a squad that is substandard and will need to be looked at in the January transfer window. However, the awful performance against Falkirk, followed up by a wasteful performance against Dundee United when they get out of jail with a belated penalty. The fans are looking at that and they're demanding better. So if Cammy's right and it's another draw, it will not go down well with the Rangers fans, not at all.
OK, let's pause that for now, because that is a bit later on, an 8 o'clock kick-off down in Ayrshire. We'll go back around the grounds ahead of our 3 o'clock matches next.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy and Gordon Dalziel have spent the entire break on Skyscanner, Booking.com, etc., just assessing the possibilities, doing a bit of a Christmas shopping. Gordon Dalziel was telling us there, just ahead of what could be a busy summer. But before all that, loads to get through. 3 o'clock kickoff's only 15 minutes away. Motherwell and Livingston is the game David Field is watching. And David, you gave us all the stats. Every way you look at it, it points towards Motherwell being favourites. And yet Livingston are not far away in any of these games, are they? If David Martindale had hair, he'd be pulling it out, because the results make it look like they're by far and away, they're the worst team in the league and they can't win a game. But when you actually watch them, they're very, very close in every single game. So you do wonder if, just by law of averages or whatever the phrase would be, that today could be the day that turns into something.
Yeah, I mean, if you even just look at obviously Motherwell beat them a few weeks ago, Gordon, but then, they got a draw against Hibs, a draw at Falkirk, they ran Rangers so close, and then last week against Aberdeen again, it was such a tight game. Yeah, but I just worry a bit for Livingston, because if you're going, 3 months, 13 games without winning, getting another 3 points after that Falkirk win way back in August, at some point you need to start converting these half-decent performances into a win. And I just look at the top of the pitch for them, and where are the goals going to come from? Tete Yengi's done okay, Stevie May's still in there kind of plugging away behind him, and you've got Jeremy Bakir, who's obviously a bit older now, coming off the bench at times. I just think they really lack that. Maybe they had a Lyndon Dykes in the past, or someone that could maybe dig them out a hole at times. I agree with you. I think David Martindale has said it himself. He can't just keep saying the same things, and that it will come good for them. Today would be a good chance to I suppose stop that run, but I just think Motherwell will be far too strong for them. We're really impressed with Motherwell. They've made changes again. It'll be a fresh team coming out here, and I expect them to be far too strong.
Interesting, those changes though, because you're right, there's a real depth all of a sudden in that midfield to forward area for Motherwell. It's really who you speak to. Some will prefer to see Slattery, some prefer to see Just, some prefer to see Charles Cook and Callum Hendry and Stamatopoulos. Not loads between them, so there's loads there. However, today is a bit interesting, because I'm pretty sure most Motherwell fans would want to see Stephen Welsh play. He feels like the number one of the centre backs at the moment. Manny Longello is the only left back really, and he provides great pace up and down that left hand side. So Johnny Katrumbis maybe plays on the wrong side, or Stephen O'Donnell plays on the wrong side. So I know Jen Bertolascu's keen to mix things up, but you wonder if that could be a stretch too far in certain areas.
I'm surprised. I came here fully expecting 3 or 4 changes. I didn't expect 7, as you're saying. Is that part of his man management? He seems to have all his players on side. They all seem to like working with him, and he gives them their fair share of games. However, I agree with you. I thought Longello, especially, and Welsh, I think Welsh has been outstanding since he's gone to Motherwell. But you just look at the options he's got elsewhere. Regan Charles Cook, Tamanda Maswanisi, and Stamatopoulos is almost, if you want to call it, the front 3, with Elijah Just back in as well, and Elliot Watt, who's probably been Motherwell's best player, I would say, this season, back in as well. But then you look at Priestman's done well coming in. Slattery obviously is a favourite. Tom Sparrow's done well. Ibrahim Said. He's got so many players. I think he's managing to keep them all happy. Maybe it will be a stretch too far today in terms of the changes, but it still looks like a very, very strong side.
Yeah, looking forward to that one for sure. Let's go to Paisley, because I had a quick look there, Roger. Forgive me if I've counted them up slightly wrong, but I shouldn't be far off it. Between these sides, St Mirren, Dundee United, I think they've got 1 win in 17 games or something, and that win was when Dundee United beat St Mirren back in October. It's incredible that these sides who had good seasons last year have gone on such poor winless runs in the league. I should point out, obviously St Mirren had that good win in the Cup semi-final against Motherwell, but neither of them winning anywhere near enough league games at the moment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I said at the top of the show, it's not going to be a clash of 2 form horses in the Premiership, Gordon, and I've been surprised by that, because St Mirren are a settled squad. It's the squad that's taken them to the top 6 in each of the last 3 seasons. They've been in Europe, as you're saying, they've reached a cup final at Hampden next weekend. But for some reason they just seem to stutter in the league. It could have been a lot worse had Richard King not scored that 99th minute equaliser at Pittodrie on Wednesday night, but it's not been going well for them, and he is beginning just to change a few things. King's in today, we believe, at right wing back. Young Fraser Taylor is getting a start in the centre of the midfield again. with Mark O'Hara, the captain, out and likely to miss the cup final. What a chance this could be for Fraser Taylor to nail down a place in the Hampden starting lineup. Dan and Lundaloo, who I was impressed with when he first came to the club, he scored when they lost at Tannadice a couple of months ago. He's back in the bench, and Stephen Robinson trying their younger and Mandron today. So I've been surprised with them, and I've also been surprised by United slumps as well. You know, they scored a lot of goals early in the season. It was only a penalty shootout that denied them getting past Rapid Vienna, if you remember, in Europe. They've got good players. Sapsford, I think, has been a good signing. He took his goal ever so well on Wednesday against Rangers. And, you know, there's good players in there. Craig Sybil's played well recently. Vigo Savel's one we like. But for one reason or another, it's just not worked. Kusharenko, obviously some high-profile mistakes. He's out injured again today, although I think Dave Richard would have kept the gloves anyway. So I've been surprised how poor the two of them have been in the league. But you would think somebody's going to have to snap out it soon, and maybe that's going to be today.
Let's bring it all together then, all the big talking points. You are the man for this, Roger Hannah. Paul sent me a message last night looking for one of you or some of you to be quizzed. Would we be right in saying the last player from Haiti to play in Scotland was a St Mirren player?
It was Duncan's Nazan. There you are, 2 goals in 10 games during a January loan spell or a January short-term contract. I think he was also Haiti's top scorer in the qualifying, you know, through CONCACAF to get to this World Cup final. So he's still spoken about in these parts in Paisley. I checked, I was asking a few people when I come in today, do you remember him? And they all did. So he will be a threat. I don't think we know too many more of his teammates, but he is, he's going to be there. You
can speak on behalf of the St Mirren fans all you like. The 3 blank expressions in this studio when you said his name was a bit telling.
That's university challenge level. Roger has taken it up a notch now. That's university challenge.
Don't forget it. Duncan's Nazon, okay?
Yeah.
Good. Gordon, you were just talking about him in the way, were you not?
Yeah, I know him very. Listen, I spoke to that lad a few times.
Hibs against Falkirk is a cracker. Tom Grant was there. Something that just struck me, Tom, aside from what you were talking, it was very noisy last time we came up. What was behind that? Is there a particular band of ultras that are in nice and early? It just seemed very lively already.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in here since about 2 o'clock, and I tried to get here for 1:30, but I couldn't get near the media car park because the police had put a cordon to separate the Falkirk and Hibs fans. So kindly, one of the stewards allowed me to park in the main car park at Hibs, so that was okay. But yeah, since 2 o'clock, and I've been in the ground. The Falkirk fans have been in here making noise, and as I mentioned at the start of the show, and reading out the teams, there has been that kind of ongoing little needle between these two sets of fans. I don't know if you remember the famous video that was going about social media at Falkirk Grahamston train station. That's Falkirk and Hibs. So yeah, that's why both sides, they don't like each other. It's not one of these long term, probably everlasting rivalries, but yeah, they don't like each other, and that's why there's been plenty of noise from either end. The two ultra sets of fans, one's at one end, and they're kept well apart, but I'm sure there'll be noise throughout the 90 minutes.
It just struck me because you're going round the ground, that's significantly louder than any of the other grounds. And I know there's a bit of a backstory there, but I don't have Hibs Falkirk down as a massive rivalry compared to some of those, but that sounds lively.
Tom Grant had the recent history there, from social media to this afternoon. I take it that Falkirk get the same number of away tickets that Celtic and Rangers get, which is insufficient, I think, at Easter Road. Hibs are letting themselves down here by having more than half a stand empty because they don't want any more away fans in there. But small in number, loud they are.
Dave Galloway is watching Dundee against Aberdeen up there at Dens, and I'm interested, Dave, to find out what's that general feeling amongst the Aberdeen fans, because when I was looking through the other the results, I feel like most people would be surprised to hear that Aberdeen have lost only one league game since September. That amazes me, because they've had a couple of draws that maybe put a negative slant on things. Some of the European results haven't been good, which maybe adds to the negative slant, but they've only lost one league game since September.
Yeah, quite a remarkable stat, like you say, Gordon. I mean, the football that they've been playing, some of it, quite frankly, has been eye-bleeding, but it's been pretty solid defensively. They weren't gifting a lot of goals up until Wednesday night, of course, when they were playing some really good, exciting attacking football, yet they forgot to keep the door closed at the back. The fans are still largely on side, and I did touch in my last update to you that there's a big Aberdeen support down here, over 3,000 of them. in the stadium. Looking at the game, tough one to call. Two unpredictable teams who can deliver the goods, but both are inconsistent. Big incentives for these sides. Gordon, Dundee looking to show they are on the right tracks. They're only 4 points ahead of bottom of the league Livingston. Aberdeen sitting 7th, but just 5 adrift of 3rd place. Incidentally, very interesting. There's been a lot of talk about VAR, of course. Very interesting to hear the VAR views of Don's chairman, Dave Cormack. His idea to speed the game up would be a 60-second limit to be put on VAR checks in Scottish football, and in his opinion, if a decision is not clear and obvious after a minute, then the referee's on-field decision should stand. Interesting one.
I like the logic. Seems deeply flawed, but the logic's certainly good, because I think we'd all like it to be speeded up, that is for sure. Right, I think that's us. That seems like team news and a detailed preview of our 4 3 o'clock games in the Scottish Premiership. We did speak about it earlier on, of course. We've got a big one later on at Rugby Park as well. And then tomorrow, the beauty of a Saturday afternoon, we get plenty of scope to preview games that come on the Sundays as well. It doesn't really get much bigger than Hearts, who are top, going to Celtic, and of course a new manager in the Celtic dugout as well. So loads to look forward to. We've got the World Cup, Scottish Cup draw. We've raised the stakes. The World Cup draw hanging over us as well. We're getting closer to finding out the specific details there. We will get these games up and running though when we return.
This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel and Cammy Bell in the studio. We've got 4 fantastic games in the Premiership. Of course, we'll keep an eye on the games down the divisions as well. But if you 3 duds could kick us off with your made-up ACCA on a Saturday afternoon, let's hear it.
I am saying Motherwell, home win against Livy. Aberdeen away win at Dundee. St Mirren Dundee United away win. And Hibs to beat Falkirk Easter Road.
Yep, I'm going home win for Motherwell. I'm going to draw Dundee Aberdeen, an away win for Dundee United, and a home win for Hibs.
I'll go Motherwell at home to Livy. I'll go Dundee to beat Aberdeen. I'll go St Mirren to beat Dundee United.
Ooh.
And I'm going Hibs Falkirk draw.
Controversial.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
Right, that's us then. We're underway. You've heard how the games will not turn out, according to the pundits in the studio. Let's see what actually happens out there in our 4 featured matches in the Premiership. Of course, we'll keep an eye on various other things round about. If there's anything from England or the lower divisions that you need to keep an eye on, then we will bring you it. And later on, we'll give you the chance to have your say on the phone lines. Of course, a good fixture list in the Championship. You were rubbing shoulders with the back-to-back double Championship Manager of the Month winner, Mark Wilson, yesterday at the Cash for Kids lunch. He plays
changed, didn't he?
A little bit, I would say.
Big head. Did you speak to him?
Of course I did.
Big head, didn't he?
No, not at all.
Nah, I don't like him.
He plays Ayr today.
Yeah.
And the Championship's brilliant as always, isn't it? But particularly Thistle establishing themselves really as one of these stories of the Championship season.
Oh, they certainly are. And obviously with Mark winning back-to-back Manager of the Month shows you the form that his team's in. Ayr United are in good run of form as well. That'll be a real difficult game down at Somerset. I'm looking forward to that, second playing third. And then you've got Dougie Emery with Wraith Rovers going up to St Johnstone. That'll be another good game, because St Johnstone, you never know what you're getting just now.
It was the cup shock last week, really.
Yeah,
Or one of them. One of
Cove.
them, I should say. Cove beating St Johnstone and putting them out.
Dunfermline are Arbroath as well. Again, Arbroath sitting in 4th. Dunfermline, Neil Lennon looking to get 3 points there. So, brilliant games in the Championship.
Is his ban underway immediately? I would assume so.
Oh, yeah, it would have to.
6-game touchline ban.
Yeah.
Neil Lennon. I think 2 of them are suspended though, so I think it'll be 4.
But it will. The 4 will kick in today, and he'll miss that. I don't know the extent to which the Dunfermline players will be happy about that. You know, the further he is away from the touchline, some players like it that way.
Yeah.
First chance at Fir Park goes to Motherwell. Regan Charles Cook bursting into the box. It was a low cross, and eventually taken in by Jerome Prior. Bounced off a couple of Livy legs and shins and went to the goalkeeper. Ian Brunskill is taking the Dunfermline team today, Roger Hannah informs us.
Oh.
No, but Roger's on the ball, isn't he?
Yeah.
Good knowledge, Roger.
Bamber Gascoigne.
Yeah, he's good. He's good knowledge. I've got to say, I'm liking Roger just now.
For younger listeners, Bamber Gascoigne
you
used to
didn't explain
present.
that to me, seriously.
I remember who Bamber Gascoigne was. Was it Gascoigne?
No relation to Paul, no, presumably.
No,
right,
not
okay.
at all.
Tell me then, who was it?
Aye, I know.
We was the presenter of University Challenge.
Ah, right, okay.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah?
Was that a common piece of viewing for you in the
Yes,
house, was it?
yes.
I didn't have you down as a University Challenge man.
No, and I like Politics Live.
You watch it.
See during the week there when you couldn't quite get your head around the question about Mississippi.
Yeah.
I thought, that's a guy. That's a guy that watches University Challenge.
Yeah, I know who Bamber
I was
Gascoigne is.
listening to that programme, absolutely thumping the kitchen table in disgust.
Well, do you agree with me,
about
Hugh?
Mississippi?
Mississippi.
Tupelo, Mississippi,
You've
the
heard the
birthplace
song?
of Elvis Presley, and you are going on about some song or group.
I have no idea what he was on about.
But the way he said the question,
These things
led
are
me to believe,
never my fault. You should know that.
led me to believe he was looking for
The lead singer of a band called...
who had the same name
But you
as
also-
someone in the Premier
You
League.
kept pronouncing it Mississippi. It's really putting me off.
But anyway, people used to watch University Challenge, and I would include the Dazzler in that. You watched it to see if you could get just one
right.
question right, just one.
They sat
in the whole
top each
programme.
other, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There we go.
He had a great one actually, because you're into political TV shows now, aren't you? You're telling me
very
this.
much so. I love them.
What's your main one you watch again?
I always watch the one in the afternoon,
Right.
Politics Live.
He said to me, I don't think I exposed him for this on air a couple of weeks ago. He said, really into my politics at the moment.
Yeah.
Really into my politics.
Yeah.
Politics Live, love it. Reading everything on my phone. He said, see that First Minister, see that Swinburne.
You see, he watches Politics Live. I go for dinner with the Prime Minister.
Yeah, you heard this?
Yeah, heard about that.
Sean,
Where was that?
dinner
Hugh?
with Keir Starmer
Yeah.
the other night.
Yeah.
I mean, I made the joke last night, but it's worth repeating. It just shows the lengths he'll go to find someone less popular than himself.
I offered him the chance to play you Beat the Pundit, but he
He's
looked
a
at
big
me.
Arsenal fan, yeah?
Oh yeah, huge.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why he loved Kieran Tierney
But
scoring
he won't be a happy man today. They've lost 2-1. But
yeah, what about that? That's a big result, that, isn't it? Sorry, you carry on with your story.
No, true Arsenal fan.
Was he in the red wine with you?
No, very, very careful. I noticed he very careful eater. Didn't have.
What do you mean? They didn't
pudding?
spill anything down
No.
The pudding?
No, like that yesterday.
We had the full Monty, and he had what looked to me like the vegetarian option.
Right, okay. So, tell you what, did you enjoy your lunch at the Cash for Kids
Mate, it was lovely, wasn't it?
event yesterday?
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. I've got to say it was lovely.
What was that? A sort of Korean
It was an interesting start.
cauliflower or something or other.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm usually
It was different, though,
team
again.
meat at
Yeah.
all times, but that was...
It was nice.
It was good.
The main course was excellent. Didn't eat a lot of the dessert because I've not got a sugar tooth.
What,
I'm
also,
more of a pack of crisps.
the thing that's been really bothering me, because of course for weeks in the lead up to Mark Wilson's wedding, you were bragging, for want of a better expression, about getting your shoes stretched at Timpson's. However, yesterday, I noticed you had to go and sit outside. You had to pull up a chair, and you were complaining about having sore feet.
Honestly,
like an old man.
Do you know one of those? I got up this morning and I had to take my bed sheet and wash it right away. For reasons.
Are we still talking about your feet?
For reasons I will explain.
Is it time for a commercial break yet?
For reasons I will explain, because my heels were so blistered that they were bleeding.
So what happened? I thought you got your shoes stretched. I thought this was the whole point of it.
I did. I'll be taking them back to Timpson's. Want my £8 back?
Why don't you just go up a shoe size?
I know. I said that to you last night.
I told you there would be something in this. The lower size would have been in the sale or something. That's why.
I did do that once. I bought a pair of trainers for cheap. One was a size 10, one was a 9. I just wore 2 socks with a 9. Mate, they're a good deal.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, no goals to tell you about yet. Motherwell are on the front foot at Fir Park, as you might expect. In the other games, I think Hibs were putting on a bit of pressure early on, a couple of corners in there, trying to put a bit of pressure on Scott Bain, but not quite happening yet. There's been a long range free kick from Jesper Karlsson, put out for a corner for Aberdeen as well. So with that in mind, Hugh Keevins. Let's do this.
First half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
We are nothing if not topical. Scotland-Brazil has captured the imagination of this country. In that vein, can you tell me the last 6 Brazilians to have played for Celtic or Rangers? The last 6 Brazilians to have played for Celtic or Rangers.
And no, I'm still not asking Gordon Dalziel that question that Tam Cowan asked Walter Smith and Ali McCoist. Absolutely not. I'll tell you at the break.
Okay.
Good teaser though. At Clyde SSB, you need all of the correct answers on one tweet, and you need to beat everyone else to it. That's the aim of the game. However, if you want to just throw some names in there, just take part, see how many you can get. Don't worry about that. It's not like you can only tweet in with all the names, but that is what you need to do to be considered the winner of the first half teaser. I think that's on the more gentle side of teasers that we often have on here, I would say. I think that is very doable indeed.
Cammy, I don't know what you're looking and shaking your head at. You never get any. Since the day you've come into the studio, you've never got any.
Okay.
Have
you got some?
I'll take my time.
Okay.
Some goals coming in down the leagues. Gordon, Edinburgh leading Dumbarton 1-0. East Kilbride sitting second in League 2 are 1 up at Forfar. Stranraer 1-0 at Stirling. Uranen are 1-0 up against Spartans. What a start that is.
This is incredible. Brilliant. Been on the show for years and now he's updating the classifieds.
Yeah.
I won't bore you with the technical reasons for why that's happening, and I do apologise that he's going to be doing it for maybe parts of the afternoon, but you can all join in, and he's right, that is a big goal. We had Scott Allen in last night. He came to the Cash for Kids lunch. I'm not sure he was hugely looking forward to his trip to Forfar, but they're there and they are 1-0 up. John Robertson, probably the standout player in that division this season. He scored a few penalties as well, it should be said. That one is a penalty today. Motherwell really putting on the pressure again. Charles Cook in down the left. The cross comes in, can't quite get anyone in the end of it. Falls, rebound blocked. So all really claret and amber at the moment. But Livy do look like they still carry a little bit of a threat on the break. Elijah Just not maybe as tidy as he would have liked when he came forward with that last attack, and St Mirren will look to try.
What do we make of this Motherwell manager, the way he's going about his business?
Well,
he goes against Hibs, 5 changes.
Love him.
Won the game. Goes against Hearts, top of the table, makes 4 changes.
I think I summarise my answer to your question by saying Motherwell are third in the table.
7 changes.
That's enough to tell me that this guy is special. 7 changes, I would always say too many. You're trying to be too smart now. But if he pulls it off and beats Livingston, this guy has higher to go.
I said it earlier though, I think it's really important to acknowledge the areas. See if Ibrahim Said plays, or Callum Slattery plays, or Elijah Just plays. There's really not a lot in it. There really isn't. It's kind of like for like, and it's personal preference. There are a couple that have looked like standouts at times. I think Just has been really good. David said it there that Elliot Watt's been maybe the main one at sort of taking the ball in those tight areas off the defence. But in the Hibs game, that was when Priestman came in for his first ever start and was excellent. So I think the only ones that do raise your eyebrow a bit, if you leave out Longello, who's the only recognised left back, and give him a well deserved rest, Johnny Katrumbis has to play on the wrong side and has to. But I think the number of them sounds worse than it is, because so many of them are just like for like with no real drop in quality.
Yeah, and he obviously trusts his squad, and he believes in the players, the way that he's working on it. I think the style of football that they're playing, you're working on that every single day of the week in training, so he obviously is seeing the response from every single member of the squad, not just the starting 11 that he's picking. Every player's at it, and contributing when they're getting the opportunity to play. So he's in a brilliant position, because ultimately a lot of these guys are getting game time. They're going on the pitch and doing the business, and they're now getting results. So yeah, listen, he certainly looks like a special talent as a manager.
Is Andy still injured?
Yes, I think so. But it was funny, I actually was going to make that joke earlier when David Field says, the players are all really buying in, when they're rotated. But I was going to say, even the ones that are not getting anywhere near the first team love him as well. So
I think, Stuart Kettlewell, we all know the circumstances under which he left the club, and then Wimmer came in and lasted 12 games and he was out the club. This guy has come in, talk about hit the ground running. if you're third in the table, then you are one smart guy.
Yeah, Regan Charles-Cook's getting so much space. He's just not managed to find the breakthrough yet. But Livy are doing okay. They're getting some space of their own. And again, I think they've really shown at times this season, breaking maybe the old stereotypes. Livy are not just lumping the ball forward here. Livy are trying to play a bit as well. It's just Motherwell are so deliberate in what they do that it sort of stands out when you watch them. But no other goals yet to tell you about. Certainly none. Not a single goal in the Premiership or the Championship yet, unfortunately.
I've got a few down the league.
Oh, go on then. Why not?
Alloa are leading against Peterhead 1-0. Kilty Heart sitting bottom of the table are 1 down against Montrose, and Stirling have brought it back to 1-1 against Funra.
You've got a future in this game, honestly. Superb, just brilliant. But we're still waiting on the first goals in the top flight and the Championship.
Roger made a point earlier on, St Mirren today, this is their last game before they play Celtic in the cup final. You're looking for some kind of, any kind of psychological lift.
Well, Stephen Robinson, it's not so much I'm disagreeing with this sentiment, but you can understand why he went so deliberate. I'm sure he said the other night when they got the late equaliser at Aberdeen, I think he said, this is a big turning point for us. Now, he doesn't know that. You have to wait and find out. But it's almost like when you're in that run, you've got to cling on to that. You've got to hope that it is, is your turning point. So maybe I'm overanalyzing, but when he had the opportunity to say, hopefully this is a turning point for us, he said it is. Trying to almost get that message across.
I think, and the guys will know better than me, but I think that's done for the benefit of the players. That's done so that they think, oh, hey, that must have been good.
And again, what it is that it sends that message that the manager believes in you. Again, he's saying, look, this is a turning point. I believe in this squad that they can turn it around and start getting back to winning ways. So I think it's just that psychological message over to the players that I've got your back. I firmly believe we can turn this around as a group. So yeah, listen, the proof's in the pudding today if they can manage to get a result. And certainly one game that I think he's looking at, thinking, Dundee United aren't in a great run of form at this moment in time either. They're at home, so no better time to turn it around.
Zach Sapsford scored a terrific goal, didn't he, against Rangers. I know the defending got a little bit of stick, and understandable, but he did his part brilliantly. He's been booked for diving in that one between St Mirren, or simulation as they would call it.
Dundee United's Achilles heel this season's been the goals they've conceded. They've conceded a lot of goals. We've identified. Yep, no, totally. It has been down to a lot of goalkeeping errors. They've obviously made that change in goal. So if they can tighten it up at the back, they've got goals in their team. They absolutely have got goals in their team.
Well, we haven't got goals.
We have not. Remind us of your teaser whilst we are awaiting it.
In honour of
corner to Livy as they look to try and get the opener at Fir Park.
In honour of Scotland versus Brazil to come. Tell me the last 6 Brazilians to have played for Celtic or Rangers.
I must admit, most people are... This type of question, the way this one's set up, people are going to get close, aren't they? They're going to get there or thereabouts. It's not like they're going to chuck in loads of wrong answers. It's just really about trying to get all 6 and do it quicker than everyone else. Do you know what? There's not a lot. There's just maybe some people are missing 1 or 2.
Yeah.
They go back a fair way, to be fair.
We've got one, and he wasn't that good. Played with Celtic, Cammy.
Is that the only one you've got?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's pre-millennium.
There's a great shout here. One of the real hidden names. Is it Kaka? I assume it's pronounced the same. NC says Kaka.
Yeah, but he did not get a game for Rangers. He may have been there, but he did not get a game.
When was that? The kind of early 2000s, I think, came right at the turn of the century, and 0 appearances, so it doesn't count on this. That's one of the only wrong ones I can see so far. Motherwell getting to the byline again, but Livy are defending pretty well. Not anymore, they're not. I think we've got a breakthrough.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It was that timing. It was Elliot Watt back in the team today. Curled one into the corner. Jerome Prior did get a hand to it. He might be disappointed, but Watt just lined it up, curled it, moving away from the goalkeeper. It was another good move from Motherwell first. They've got to the byline so many times. This one came out to the edge of the box, and there was Elliot Watt who finds the corner, and it is Motherwell 1, Livingston 0.
And I take it from...
Hold that thought. What did they say about buses,
yeah,
Hugh Keevins?
2 at a time.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
St Mirren have taken the lead of all the aerial threats in the St Mirren team. I don't know if Conor McMenamin would be counted amongst them, but he has scored with a header at the back post, and it's St Mirren 1, Dundee United 0.
Well, we're wondering why Stephen Robinson had gone so hard on the fact that Aberdeen was a turning point for them. I remember the late great Craig Brown always said, if you keep on telling players that they're bad, it'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So he boosted the players, and they've shown what a boost in confidence can do for you.
I'll tell you what, you talk about St Mirren, Dundee United really needed
Yeah,
a
I said that as well.
Yeah.
You know, it was between the two of them.
Yeah.
Between them, 18 games, 1 win in the league, and it was when Dundee United beat St Mirren, earlier on.
Yeah.
So.
But again, another poor goal. It sounds a set piece that Jim Goodwin will not be happy with.
Oh, this is magnificent. It's worth the wait after all this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Aberdeen. It's Dundee 0, Aberdeen 1. Al-Shish with the goal in that one. We've waited all this time for a breakthrough. We've now got 3 of them. So we've got 1-0 margins for Aberdeen, for Motherwell, for St Mirren. And Stephen Presley, who was encouraged by the performance at Celtic Park in midweek, he said he wanted it to be perfect, and it wasn't, but it was one that he liked. He saw encouraging elements from. They are behind now. It was just a loose ball, really. The keeper parried the drive from Lazetic, and there was a nice low finish.
Dundee beat St Mirren last weekend comfortably, 3-1. Then they have a good Celtic Park, but lose to an early goal and have Celtic hanging on at the end. There's no consistency in this league.
No, I totally agree with you here. I think every week we'll be looking at it'll just differ. I think the top teams like Hearts, Celtic, Motherwell, Rangers, you're looking at them. Hibs, they're a big game for them today against an informed Falkirk. But the rest of them are, you wouldn't put your hat on them, would you?
No, and again, like you mentioned, Gordon, Aberdeen are actually in okay form.
In the league,
and it's amazing that when you hear the stat, because you almost automatically think that they're struggling at this moment in time. They lost a late goal. They should have won that game midweek. They lost a late goal, only come away with a point against St Mirren. Now they're 1-0 up. So, yeah, listen, it looks as if it's going to be a sore afternoon for Dundee if they can't get back, because they need to start picking up points. They're really, really struggling at this moment in time.
And it's a sore afternoon for Forfar because East Kilbride have went 3-0 up.
Just get Scott Allen back up the road then.
Yep, he can come home.
Absolutely.
Set play coach, is he?
Yes, well, something like that does the set pieces.
They've not
anyway.
scored for a corner yet, or a free kick. So.
Right, yeah. Who scored the other goals for East Kilbride, did you say?
Robertson has got a brace, and Foster.
There we go. 3 goals already in the Premiership. That was great. That we needed them all at the same time. Livy trailing now at Fir Park. Dundee United trailing in Paisley, but Aberdeen winning on the road.
And the irony being, the noisiest place pre-match, Easter Road, Hibs Falkirk, not a sausage.
Yeah, apparently Hibs well on top though, and Falkirk looking a bit all over the place, dithering a bit at the back. That surprised you? I've been so impressed with Falkirk.
Yeah,
I thought what John McGlynn did the other night was a real testament to him, where he changed all sorts. It was the most specifically designed game plan to deal with Motherwell's threats, and they did it so well, and obviously that's why it cancelled each other out in a 0-0 draw. I know some people don't want to celebrate a 0-0 draw, but Falkirk have been brilliant.
Oh no, they've been fantastic. It doesn't surprise me Hibs are on top. I would imagine they've went probably quite a high press to get after Falkirk, because we know they like to pass out from the back and build it through the thirds. So it doesn't surprise me, because Hibs have got the players to steal the ball high up the pitch and hurt you. And I think that's what they'll be trying to do in this first half.
Spoken about dodgy goalkeepers, the Hibs goalkeeper last weekend against Celtic, he'd a nightmare.
You can put your kettle on every week for a dodgy goalkeeper.
It's not been great this season.
It's not
terrible.
I actually had this conversation, and I was trying to get in my mind who I think's the best goalkeeper in the league at this moment in time.
Have you got one?
It's a difficult one, no?
Who would you say?
I don't think there's been anyone that outstanding so far.
Scott Bain.
Scott Bain's been really good, consistent.
Well, by the way, Jack Butland's had a good season.
Yeah.
It's because everything else around him's not been.
There's been goalies that have had good season, but I just don't think we've had that outstanding. I quite like the Hearts goalkeeper, but again, he makes a mistake during the week. Gifts Kilmarnock a goal, so Yeah, I think there's been a lot of errors this season.
Because I think, Mitov's a good goalie.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Again, you look at Miller Knight.
He gets away with one as well.
He had a bad night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I mean, that's not a foul for me. That absolutely
Even in the
not a foul.
goalkeepers union?
No, I don't think there's enough in it.
No nudge on the back?
No.
Actually, after all that, Falkirk perhaps should have gone in front. There's a shot by Brad Spencer initially, saved, and then Ethan Williams there puts it into the side net. Livy coming forward as well, putting a bit of pressure on Motherwell. Scott Pittman, Mr. Livy. What is he, 11 years at the club now? 10, 11 years. He's involved, as you would expect, but just can't quite squeeze it through. The bodies are there to defend it.
The Falkirk players are having their Christmas bash in Dublin this weekend.
Say that
There'll
again.
be a few of them.
The Falkirk players are having their Christmas bash in Dublin, but no Brad Spencer because his wife is expecting.
Well, they might meet the Motherwell players there.
Oh
Are they
my!
going there as well?
Because you'll find that happens, Cammy, doesn't it? Happens all the time.
When I was at Dundee United, I remember we were playing Ayr United away, and we came over to Glasgow to fly to Dublin, as everyone does. Jumped on the plane. There was Ross County, there was, I think, Kilmarnock were on the flight. There was about 5 teams on this one flight. Everyone was going over, and you've got all the English teams that go as well. So
No
absolutely mobbed.
Andy Halliday on Monday Night Show. That's how I know.
Oh,
they're,
is she going over as well? And Stranraer have taken the lead against Stirling. Guess who scored the goal?
Darren Lang.
Bang bang.
There we go.
Derek Lang.
Look, you're really settling into this role, aren't you? You don't need to update us on them all. We'll just see.
No, I'm
how
just
we go.
throwing out a couple there. It's a friend of the show.
Yeah.
His favourite song.
Livy with a corner at Fir Park in the Gordon Dalziel flat end, as they call it.
Is that the way they're shooting?
Livy are shooting towards your
the
flat.
flat.
Yeah, if that helps you.
That helps me.
Sort of visualise.
Do you know what'd be interesting? What's the crowd today at Fir Park? Because there was over 10,000. I know Hearts.
Over 11. It was the biggest crowd at Fir Park in 17 years, I think.
Wow,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Was it? Hold on. It was either 11 or 17 years, and I must be getting them mixed up because they look similar. Right, but it was the biggest crowd for over a decade. And
Who's at the game today?
David Friel. The only thing would be the biggest since Helicopter Sunday.
Wow.
That's 20 years then, is it not?
I remember being there that day. I've never seen a man, and Martin O'Neill left in sensational fashion on Wednesday night. Very emotional farewell to the Celtic supporters, but I've never seen a man who looked the way Martin did that day.
David Friel saying he's at the game, and someone there mentioned the biggest since Helicopter Sunday. Don't get me wrong though, Gordon, the difference last week, to state the obvious, is Hearts. I mean, Hearts filled the stand behind the goal. They brought an outrageous support, which obviously Livy wouldn't.
Yeah, but Motherwell had over 6,000 their own supporters.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Which is fantastic for them. It showed you everyone's buying into the new manager's style of play, and obviously the results as well helps. And sitting third in the league, 1-0 up against Livy today.
But do you know what? And it has opened my eyes a bit, but clearly style has got a lot to do with this, because see, within that period, since Helicopter Sunday, if that's as far as we're going, Motherwell have finished third a few times. They even finished second. They've fourth European qualification, top sixes, and none of that led
to the fans.
So is the style. I mean, it has
100%.
to be.
I think people are willing to go out and pay their money because they know they're getting entertained. And they're all buying into it. It's absolutely fantastic just now if you're a Motherwell supporter.
But even Aberdeen, Aberdeen are bottom 6, and that for a club of their size is an embarrassment. But Dave Galloway's saying that they've brought thousands with them to Dundee.
Yep.
I mean, they're a bit of an outlier, as you young people call it today, because by and large they've been rotten, but people turn out in great number.
See, on that, Hugh, I said it earlier, Aberdeen are, what are they, 2 points off fourth? The table just hasn't settled yet. You're factually correct about being in the bottom 6. 2 points off fourth, and that can be made up very quickly.
But in the passing, I pay tribute to the Aberdeen fans because they travel, and every away game's a bit of a hike for them, and they travel in good numbers.
It should be 2 for Motherwell. Stamatolopoulos with the miss. It's the one thing, Gordon, and that's the whole point. They're still Motherwell. Despite all of this, they will still be Motherwell. They're bound to have limitations. I think there is a feeling that if the number 9s were as clinical as the midfielders are tidy, Motherwell's points total would be a lot higher than it is already.
Yeah, but they've still scored 22 goals.
I know, that's the thing, yeah.
Which is very good. Yeah, listen, if you were a natural centre forward, the best team just now to play for is Motherwell. Because they're creating chances for you left, right and centre. If you were that, what you call in the game, the poacher, the guy that stood around about the 18-yard box, waited for everybody to do the work, and then he took the glory. But brilliant.
And don't get me wrong, Maswinissi's the joint top scorer in the league. It's not like they've got personnel issues there, but he obviously comes off a wide area generally, and provides that bit more of a kind of direct kind of running threat, doesn't he? Yeah, listen, they're in a brilliant place. They've got goals throughout their team as well. I think they don't need to just rely on their striker to score. I think they've got goals throughout their team, different ways of finding the back of the net, and I just feel as if they're in a really good moment at this moment in time. It's just really, really exciting for the fans. The club feels as if it's very vibrant, and again, you've got to take your hat off to the people behind the scenes, because yes, when everything's going well on the pitch, you've also got to take advantage of it. So they're doing things right. They're obviously working with the fans to try and generate more people to come into the club, which is going to generate more money.
And I think these guys are right. Everybody's buying into this because he's making so many changes, game after game after game. And I don't think there'll be a lot of players going in Champions door and saying, how am I left out of the team because we won last week?
However, Livy are not out of this, by the way.
No.
Livy enjoying a lot more of the ball maybe than people would have.
Has Big Mar threw another ball on you?
Expected. You probably
I've got him down for the 34th minute.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. If Motherwell score another, he'll be trying to slow things down. But no, Livy are doing their bit. There's not loads in this. Stuart Armstrong's hit the woodwork with a curling free kick from 20 yards. Is that a don't forget about me, Steve Clarke? I'd like to go to Miami.
Yes, for sure.
He's been a good signing for Aberdeen, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's
ever since I found him at Celtic Park that day with Dundee United, I mentioned him before MD. Heard of him, watch out for this guy, he's got to be a star. He's been a real good signing for Aberdeen.
But he's gone public. You know, he said he cannot rule out the possibility of going back into Stevie Clarke's squad in time for the World Cup. And why should he? All players should aspire to be in that squad. And then we'll get round to Harvey Barnes later.
Yeah, well, that's it. It changes it. I think it was Roger or someone said that, you know, everything is going to be geared towards this in a way, because, you know, it goes in the back burner, and then you look at players individually in the league. You know, is it Lawrence Shankland? Is it someone like Stuart Armstrong? Is it someone who's never made a squad before, which feels unlikely for Steve Clarke, but it has to remain, you know, a possibility. You don't know about injuries, unfortunately, so everything we do from now until June is going to have a little sort of World Cup reminder. Yeah, definitely, and Hugh's right. Listen, there's a massive opportunity for these guys for the rest between now and the end of the season to go and have a brilliant season for your club. Make sure you're at the front where Steve Clarke looks and says, listen, he's in with a shout. I just feel Stuart Armstrong, it's probably the position. Yeah, I feel like, you know, we've got such a strong midfield, and unless there was hopefully not a huge amount of injuries in there, I think he would really struggle to get in.
Yeah, I agree with that.
On the subject of the midfield, Cammy, the Celtic captain, out of retirement, would he?
No. Do you think he would, because it's a World Cup?
World Cup draws made, Brazil, Morocco. Would he be tempted? That's all.
I think he would be tempted, but again, you've announced your retirement, you're out of the squad. I really can't see Steve Clarke picking anyone sort of out with his normal. I think you've made your mind up. Once you've retired, you've stepped away from it, and I totally get it. Listen, Cal McGregor would absolutely bring something to the squad. Of course he would.
People have come back though.
I just feel like Steve Clarke's maybe not that manager that opens the door for that.
Do you think what makes his case at least a bit more debatable, Gordon, is the type
of player?
Just the type. People can have their own opinions on how good or otherwise players are, but in terms of profile, if Billy Gilmour doesn't play, the midfield is completely different. And again, I'm not saying Callum McGregor is good or is better or worse than Billy Gilmour, but I'm talking profile here. If he doesn't play, we've seen it in the last couple of games. Everyone, and as great as Denmark was, let's not forget the performance too much. everyone keeps banging on about how Ryan Christie plays deeper for Bournemouth and Lewis Ferguson does it for Bologna. They do not build with the ball the same when Billy Gilmore doesn't play. They can't.
No. And if Cal McGregor decided to come back, Gordon, I don't think it would be a negative, because he's still playing as well as he's played for a long time with Celtic, and I think he'd be a very important player.
Let me tell you about one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal for Aberdeen again, and it's Al-Shish again. He's clipped the ball over the goalkeeper, and all of a sudden he's on a hat-trick. He's maybe not been quite as promising a signing as Aberdeen fans would have hoped when he first came to the club, but he's finding his feet. He's ticking along nicely now, and he's got a double at Dens to have Aberdeen 2-0 in front.
And I can imagine the reaction of the Dundee fans. They're fed up looking at this at Dens Park. So it's a trying time for Stephen Presley.
Won't be happy with Mr. Sippy.
I like how he's just his own guy, Stephen Presley.
Yeah.
I do like that. You know, obviously it's football management. If he does a good job, it'll be great. If he doesn't, he'll get sacked. But why not just be unapologetically yourself? All the stuff at the start about I'm not the man to win trophies. Then he changed his team last week because he had a dream about it. And I noticed at Celtic Park the other night he was straight after full time, he was walking around the tunnel trying to gather his thoughts before he did the interviews with a tote bag over his shoulder. And, you still don't see many managers with one of them over their shoulder.
This week he's also asked his players not to go Christmas shopping and
don't blame him.
Not to go Christmas shopping, to conserve their energy for match days. Well, that didn't go too well today, but every time he scored a goal in his playing career, I am told, he used to shout, "Who's the daddy?" That was his as Gordon said, a singular personality.
How do you feel about that?
Loves it.
I used to shout
Mr. Sippy is the daddy.
Mr. Sippy.
There's Lazetic put the ball wide after Al-Shish then tried to become the assister. Aberdeen are ticking along brilliantly here, 2-0 up and looking to make it more. Penalty Hibs. Are we finally going to get our breakthrough in that game? That would be a big moment. Try to remember who would be Jamie McGrath, Martin Boyle. They would be the main contenders, wouldn't they?
Yeah, he missed one.
McGrath missed one against Rangers.
Boyle scored against Celtic last weekend.
Yep.
Penalty spot.
And McGrath missed one against Rangers. Although everybody seems to have one saved by Jack Butland these days. His record is...
Saved Boyle's one as well.
Is outstanding, isn't it?
Put that on record.
You did? You saved a Boyle one, have you?
Yeah. Did you?
Easy.
Wait, who?
Dundee United against Hibs.
Where did he go?
It was after. Do you know what? His was the penalty directly after the free that I'd saved. I'd saved free against Dunfermline, and then we played.
You saved the next one?
I saved the next one, yeah.
That's a
so
good stat.
Boyle's penalty.
I didn't realise that. So you saved 3 in one game, and then saved the next one you faced as well.
And then we beat Hibs that day 1-0.
No wonder you were on the bench against Brazil with a track record.
I was on the bench, I'm pretty sure, against Brazil with probably what'll be Scotland's goalkeeper going into the World Cup. I would imagine the one that'll play,
Craig Gordon.
Yes, I think Alan McGregor played the game against Brazil.
He's got to go somewhere in January, Cammy.
Yeah, totally. I think he will. I genuinely think he will.
I think so.
I think he'll give himself the best opportunity to set himself up. I think he's going to play at the World Cup, but what I think Craig's mindset will be is, can I get a number of games to put myself in the best possible place to go into a World Cup and perform at the top of his level?
Makes sense.
So on that day you were third choice goalkeeper?
Yeah.
You're saying, okay.
There's no shame to Alan McGregor and Craig Gordon.
It'll be interesting to see what that destination would look like, because there was the stories about Kilmarnock trying to take Craig Gordon, which didn't come to
Potentially
fruition.
Dundee United could be looking for a goalkeeper.
So, I mean, state the absolute obvious. He'd need to play somewhere that, need to be almost guaranteed that.
I think he would be. I think there'll be a number of teams in Scotland that would absolutely bite your hand off for Craig Gordon for the second half of the season.
Okay, penalty Hibs after a VAR check is given. Martin Boyle is going to take it. It's not Cammy Bell in goals, which means
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
he goes right down the middle, which is clearly where Kasper Schmeichel thought he was going to go last week, because he didn't move. And he does go down the middle this time to give his team the lead. Hibs 1, Falkirk 0.
Well, Hibs have got to build on this, because they are where they are because they flatter to deceive at times. Now they've got the lead, they're at home, the atmosphere sounds terrific. They've got to build on it and get all 3 points.
Yeah, so it's a deserved lead for Hibs, I think, by the sounds of it. Falkirk have had their opportunities, but Hibs dominated most of that opening period and getting the chance from the penalty spot. It looked a clear-cut decision, but VAR obviously had a wee look, and a few things you have to double-check. I was interested in what Dave Galloway said to us earlier, that Dave Cormack's gone on record today, and don't get me wrong, I haven't heard the detail, so he might cover this off, but saying if you can't do it in 60 seconds, it's not clear and obvious, and therefore you should move on. Sounds great, but remember, you're not always looking at just one thing.
No.
So if you're checking for a penalty for a foul in the box, right? Okay, start the clock. 1, 2, you're checking. Right, okay, you've got to 45, 50 seconds, and you go, brilliant, that's a penalty, let's award it. But you now need to check to see if there's been an offside in the build-up.
100%.
You have to check to see if there's an offside in the build-up. So, again, I'll give Dave Cormack the benefit of the doubt. I've not heard it. Maybe he's thought all this through. But I don't think you can do it within 60 seconds if you're going to have to check various things.
No, again, listen, for me, the biggest thing is getting the correct decision. That's ultimately what we should be thriving to get, is getting that right decision, making sure that we come to the right conclusion. I don't think putting a time on it, for me...
Would you not?
Nah, not really.
It doesn't, because like I said, it doesn't stand up to any scrutiny, right, of that. So let me remind you of one.
Right.
And I'm not. This is not about self-promotion here. I'm not saying rush over it and watch the VAR review, right? But we did this on one of the episodes, and it was a real good reminder. Do you remember the goal Rangers got disallowed at Dens Park? There was a shot from the edge of the box, and Diomande, I think, was accused of being... Was it Diomande? Somebody was in front of the goalkeeper. He was in the goalkeeper's line of sight. Right? But first of all, it was a pass, I think, to Mikey Moore, right? So he scores. Does Mikey Moore score? Oh, forgive me. Right. But they had to check to see if the first pass was offside, right? They then had to check there was a handball shout from a Dundee defender. You'll remember that. They then check all that. Then you're drawing the lines to say, is the player in front of the goalkeeper offside? And then you have to analyse, is he affecting the goalkeeper? Is he in the line of vision? You can't do that within 60 seconds. No. So to pluck a random time frame out, because, by the way, we all want it to be quicker, yes?
We all want it to be correct as well, though.
But for me, this is a very Scottish character trait. When VAR come in, that will cut out all these mistakes and that. But then transparency takes too long for some people.
And also, I would need to double check. I don't know if Scotland can randomly impose a 60-second limit without IFAB doing it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But so what? In VAR, everywhere else in the world, it takes as long as it takes. But here, we've just plucked 60 seconds. I
watched the classic.
I'm sceptical.
Not going to happen.
I watched the classic Fulham Man City match during the week.
Oh, what a game!
9-goal thriller, and the VAR check.
Was there not a 4-minuter in that?
Yeah, the goal, which made it Fulham 3, Man City 5. They had a 4-minute check on it, and I thought, are they? The negative side of you thinks, are they looking to see if they can find a reason to disallow this goal? The match is a classic. However, as you rightly say, sometimes transparency takes a while.
Because, by the way, no football fan should like that. I don't like that. 4 minutes. That's horrific. However, it's almost like the genie's out the bottle a little bit on that. If that's your biggest league in the world, with all your cameras and your full-time refs and all the things that we pine for, but we've just decided we'll just knock it in the head after 60 seconds.
What do you think of the looking at corners going forward?
Well, again, this is going to be worse, isn't it?
In the World Cup. Again,
I don't like the sound of that.
They're trying to say, look, we are not going to stop the game, because they're talking about defenders having to come up all the way up the pitch, and while they're doing that, then we'll be checking to make sure it is a corner for the correct team, because obviously there's been a number of goals where you look back and it's maybe shouldn't have been a corner. So yeah, I think they're trying to defend the decision and doing it, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
I'd like to see what happens as well in the 60 seconds, if the ref needs to then sprint over to the monitor just to make sure he's within his time.
You've got 10 seconds left.
Then we'll have all our theories about he was deliberately going too slow. Oh, sorry, at 63 seconds, let the goal stand. Speaking of goals,
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Get me on the plane, Steve Clark. It's Kieran Bowie this time with a lovely curling left-footed finish to make it Hibs 2, Falkirk 0. unfortunately for the Bairns, Brian Graham had just come quite close up the other end with a back heel, saved by Salinger up the other end, and there is Kieran Bowie.
Well, it's a long barren spell. And again, I think qualification for the World Cup, if you're a Kieran Bowie, you say, I have simply got to buck up my ideas and get some goals here and keep myself in this man's vision.
I think if he plays in the right areas, he's always got the capability of scoring goals. I just was very negative against him because I thought he played in wider areas, and when balls come in the box, he was never there. He's a centre forward. If he's going to attract attention from Steve Clarke, do it by scoring goals.
Yeah, and I get it. He obviously wants to work hard for the team, and I like that as from a striker. But you're right, he needs to stay in the box where he can affect it, where he can score goals. And again, we spoke about before, what an opportunity for him between now and the end of the season. Puts a good run together, scores a lot of goals, then he's certainly got to be in Steve Clarke's thoughts for the squad.
Well, I think you obviously start by looking at players who have been in squads but weren't in the last one. In the striking area, I think it will be interesting because there's maybe not a lot between them, but there are still a couple. So Kieran Bowie wasn't in the last squad. You can make a case for him, which we're doing at the moment. Forgotten a little bit about Tommy Conway.
Yep.
I mean, I think he was drifting out a bit wider last night, I saw, but Middlesbrough still going pretty well at that
I think
level.
The time frame throws up all manner of possibilities because you've got 6 months.
How many strikers will he take?
I don't think squad sizes have been confirmed, have they? And there's talk about expanding, but that would almost becomes an unmanageable number as well. But yeah, the ones who were obviously in the last time, Adams and Dykes are almost nailed on if they're fit.
Yep. Shankland, I think's in there. I would be
Hurst
surprised.
Is again operating at a decent enough level in the championship.
You got to take it 4 or 5, yeah?
Yeah. But if you're taking them 4 that we've just mentioned, Dykes, Shankland, Hurst, Adams, if you take a 5th one, then obviously Kieran Bowie could be potentially one of the ones that look at. Tommy Conway, as you mentioned, because he has had that experience from Steve Clarke as well, so it just presents opportunities for players. That's what it does.
Yeah, so Kieran Bowie, the latest. If you think that we will run out of references to the World Cup, you would be sorely mistaken. So everything that happens today, we're somehow managing to link it back, and we're only an hour and 15 minutes away from beginning to find out exactly where and when these games will be. We know the dates. We've got a kind of either or on the venues, but that should be confirmed before we leave tonight. That is the hope, so stay tuned for that, because that's going to add an extra layer to the excitement as well. A little bit like getting your presents on Christmas Day, but then getting more on Boxing Day when you go and meet the rest of the family.
Do you know the first person I met in New York, World Cup 1994, came from Motherwell.
Great place. We're
and
everywhere.
Was a member of the NYPD.
Seriously?
Yeah. And lifted his shirt to show me the bullet wound in his side.
I thought you were going to say a Motherwell tattoo there.
No, bullet wound. Member of the NYPD. I met him on 8th Avenue in New York.
You've lived some life. Keir Starmer, bullet wounds in NYPD, Saturday afternoon.
What was his name?
Gordon Dalziel and Cammy Bell.
Well, it was 30 years ago, I don't remember.
Anyone from Motherwell have family who were shot in the NYPD? That's your Who Am I for the second half, by the way. It's a bit different this afternoon. We've got a half-time whistle at Fir Park. David Friel.
Yeah, and if that member of the NYPD is still kicking, Gordon will be happy, man. Motherwell 1, Livingston 0 at half-time. Motherwell in front. It's a deserved lead for them. Probably haven't been at a brilliant best, but have controlled the bulk of the game. Elliot Watt with the curling finish to put them ahead as they look to stay in third place. Regan Charles Cook helped create that goal. It wasn't really a surprise. He caused Livy so many problems from the start. He was playing off the left to begin with. He's drifted about the pitch ever since, but you get into so many good positions in that opening spell. Eventually one flowing move paid off in 18 minutes. Charles Cook's low cross was diverted out to Watt. He took a touch and sent a curling shot into the corner, although Jerome Prior could have done a bit better. Motherwell have been a better team, but Livy have carried a threat at times. Tete Yengi rolled one wide. Lewis Smith also came close. Scott Pittman had an effort blocked. That was a kind of brief spell of pressure, but Motherwell should have added to their lead as well. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos sent through by Lucas Verdinger. He had so much time to pick his spot, but instead fires straight at Prior, who made an easy save. Stamatolopoulos then met an Elliot Watt free kick, but was stretching as he headed over, and the final chance of the half came up the other end. Christian Montano got on the end of a Lewis Smith cross, but couldn't get his header on target. So Motherwell well on top, in control, but Jens Bertel Askew will know they need a second goal to kill this one off. Half time, Motherwell 1, Livingston 0.
And it is half time at Easter Road. Tom Grant has the story.
Yes, Gordon, you asked me about the pre-match noise, but there's not been a lot for the Falkirk fans to shout about. That's been a struggle over 45 minutes for them. In truth, it was a scrappy start, like two boxers in the first round of a fight trying to figure each other out, but Hibs started to take hold. A Chris Cadden corner on 5 minutes, headed off the Falkirk goal line by Liam Henderson, just as Rocky Bashiri was looking to tap it home. The visitors have struggled to get anything going at the top of the park, much because their opponents have forced them to defend for large parts of this one. Henderson had to clear another one off the line on 18 minutes, and Jamie McGrath put a tame effort into the arms of Bain as the High Bees cranked up the pressure. That was until 22 minutes when Brad Spencer almost capitalised on a Hibs error, taking his left-footed shot from 18 yards early and forcing Salinger in the Hibs goal into a one-handed save. Ethan Williams could only put the follow-up into the side netting from what was a tricky, tight angle. But it was Hibs who got themselves in front on 36 minutes. Martin Boyle brought down by Brad Spencer. It looked pretty clear-cut, and after a short VAR decision, that was under 60 seconds, Martin Boyle dispatched the penalty past Scott Bain. Now that we know our World Cup future is known, all the talk will turn to who will be on that plane to the US. And as you guys have been discussing, Kieran Bowie, who started this season so strongly, clearly now needs to get himself again known to Stevie Clarke. Well, Clarke will be cracking a smile at Bowie's finish to put Hibs 2 up, found in the box by Mulligan on the angle, just placed his curling left-footed effort past Bain into the corner. Sometimes a good indicator on who has the better half of football is to look what teams have amassed all the bookings, making silly challenges in an attempt to slow down their opponents. That's happened on 3 occasions for Falkirk players Liam McCann, Dylan Tate and Calvin Miller following Senegal challenge. And I mention that because it'd be interesting to see if John McGlynn makes any changes with the risk of a red card in the second half. But the High Bees here well in control. Half time it's Hibs 2, Falkirk nil.
It's about St Mirren Dundee United, Roger Hannah.
Yes, and Mirren 1 United nil at the break. It is lead for the Buddies, given to them after 17 minutes by Conor McMenamin. The first surprise really was Stephen Robinson's team line-up. Gordon Light's pal pushed into central midfield with both Mark O'Hara and Keanu. Midfield sidekick Killian Phillips, who threatened first a shot in a packed box that was deflected beyond Dave Richards for a corner. Zach Sapp sort of scored for United in the 3-1 race win against the Boys in October. He was booked by referee Walsh for diving in the box as well. For United after 17 minutes, taking jump back from injury, granted space on the left hand side, a great cross to the back. Is at wing back Miniman to crash a header past Ruth for 1-0. Declan John then put a free kick just inches over the top, and Jonah was inviting Crawley at no takers after 28 minutes with St Mirren well on top. He was booked, as was Christian Kerrett says. And Rose United struggling to get into the game at all, but they did have a couple of chances before break. There was a slip at the back, it allowed Sabso to run clear on goal, but Shamal George came out, narrowed the angle and blocked the shot. Then moments later, former buddy Ryan Strean, his cross on the right, headed over the top by Nick Moller. Jim Goodwin will expect a lot more from United in the second half. They've been second best. Who needs Duncan when you've got Conor McMenamin? St Mirren 1, Dundee United 0.
Thanks for bearing with us. Roger Hannah's line was coming and going. I think we could just make it. We were just losing the odd word here and there, and I think we could almost make out what he was saying. What we do know is St Mirren are leading at the break.
In the spirit of Scotland going to America for the World Cup, Roger decided to impersonate Buzz Aldrin on the moon.
We've still got a few minutes to wait for Dave Galloway. Here's what we will do. We will take a break. We'll come back with Dave Galloway's report from Dundee Aberdeen. We'll give you a full roundup of the half-time scores and the winners to the first half teaser.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
And that's us back underway already in some of the 3 o'clock games, particularly for Park. Dundee United have made a change. Fata for Survey at the break. Fata, another one, has scored a great goal, didn't he, during the week. I think what always happens is we get bogged down, and I understand the supply and demand nature of it about Rangers not doing their bit. So Dundee United's 2 goals were excellent during the week.
Yeah, they were. And you, as you say, you always look at the negatives and defensively how poor Rangers defended, but you've got to hand it to, and I've said this, Dundee United for me do have goals in their team. The problem this season has been conceding. A lot of that's been down to goalkeeping errors, individual errors as well. Again today, I think Jim Goodwin will be disappointed to losing a goal from a set play. So yeah, listen, I still think that there's a long way to play in that game, and Dundee United have got goals in their team, so it'll be interesting to see how they approach this second half, but also how St Mirren again, I feel like they probably still need another goal, and they'll be a little bit nervous because they've not had a lot of wins this season. So, be an interesting second half.
Yeah, 2-0 margins at the break, Hugh. So, to state the obvious, Falkirk, they're going to need to respond soon.
Yeah,
Dundee would need to respond soon.
Well, if Aberdeen get a third, Dens Park empties of Dundee fans, and Stephen Presley comes in for more flack. And I would fancy Aberdeen to get a third before I would fancy Dundee to make it 2-1. With regard to Hibs and Falkirk, it does seem as if Hibs, as I said earlier, who occasionally flatter to deceive, this time they are flattering with purpose.
A couple of changes as well. Falkirk have gone Cartwright and Aguiman on for Dylan Tate and Brian Graham. It did look like Brian Graham maybe took a knock at the end of the first half, but as we said, they need a way back into the game anyway. Thought Aguiman looked pretty good against Motherwell during the week, maybe a bit raw, and maybe passed up a couple of half chances that came his way, but he certainly was a threat.
They'll be looking for a quick response. John will say, look, get back into this game as quickly as you possibly can, put a little bit of pressure on them, but you've got to say Hibs 2-0, Falkirk have to come out. You would find Hibs probably go and win that comfortably.
David Gray would be in trouble if Falkirk come back too well.
But 2-0, the next goal, if you get the next goal, it does put that little bit of pressure on.
Massive. I think David Gray's message will be start this half right. Make sure you do everything you've done in the first half, same intensity, go and get that third goal, because when they get that third goal, it becomes comfortable then. And you're right, the 2-0 one's always a dodgy one, because if you concede that goal, the nervousness starts to filter around the whole stadium. So it'll be interesting to see the first sort of 10-15 minutes of that game.
To do the old as things stand, I mean, Motherwell would go 3 points above Rangers. Hibs would leapfrog Rangers by 1 point, but it makes it all the more vital for Danny Rule that there's no more sloppiness at Rugby Park tonight.
Really good save from Callum Ward to deny Livy. It was a really powerful strike, bang on the 18-yard line, David Field tells us. And Callum Ward at full stretch, it came through a ruck of bodies. The Motherwell goalie got a little bit of stick earlier in the season,
he did.
But he has responded pretty well, and he's made some good saves. And actually the stuff about playing out from the back, Cammy, was overblown. Like it got caught in the most high profile venue because it was at Celtic Park, but it was also against the team that pressed you the best probably in Celtic. And to be honest, most of the other goals Motherwell have conceded, set pieces, second balls. But, this notion that they keep shooting themselves in the foot because of their playing out from the back is a myth.
For me it is as well. I totally agree with that. I think at the start of the season, yes, there's going to be mistakes are made because it's a new system, it's a new style, but as I've said before, they'll train like that every single day. They'll have patterns of play. They'll work on their shape, the way they move the ball. I think they do that even in their warm-up nowadays. They work on the patterns of play. So I genuinely think Motherwell are only going to get stronger and stronger as this season goes on, because they're getting more and more comfortable with the style, but they're also growing in confidence with results.
What I'm looking forward to though, Gordon, is seeing how it all evolves, because teams also maybe can start to figure Motherwell out or do different things. I said Falkirk did a real good job. Falkirk moved totally away from what they normally do to try and combat Motherwell. We said today, I know they're one up, but Livy are doing absolutely fine in this game, and they've had quite a bit of the ball as well, so it'll be interesting if other teams, if they start to catch on to it, and then can Motherwell respond. And that's what we should have. We should have a variety of styles in the league. It's not that Motherwell's is right and everybody's is wrong, but there should be a nice mix.
Look, they're getting all the praise in the world for the way they're playing football. They're a very dangerous side. They're leading today, and they should command that bit of respect. If you're going to play against Motherwell, I don't think you just go toe-to-toe with them and hope you can outplay them, because you'll end up getting outdone, because they have got a good patterns of plays. Cammy quite rightly touches on there. Look, it's not a fluke. We're 16th. This is the 16th league game for Motherwell, and they're sitting up there in third. They look like they could go on and get another 3 points this afternoon as well. So everything's going well.
Right, Hugh, shall we?
Yep.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
In my career, I have played alongside Miksu Patalainen Tom Boyd and Alan McGregor. I have been managed by Lou Macari and Dick Campbell. I've won the Scottish Premier Division and the Scottish League Cup in the same season. And I also won the Scottish Cup 2 seasons before. Who am I? So, played alongside Mick Supatalainen, Tom Boyd, Alan McGregor, managed by Louis Macari and Dick Campbell, won the Scottish Premier Division title and the Scottish League Cup in the same season, and won the Scottish Cup 2 seasons before that. Who am I?
I like it. I really, really like it. So let's see if we can get an answer on there at Clyde SSB. You have to do it quicker than everyone else if you want to win. And it's better in the second half. It's more accessible. You can just chuck names out there willy-nilly. You don't even need to worry about it. And coming up with a long list or anything like that. So get them over to us. Send the name in at Clyde SSB and we will see if you can get it right. Gordon DL prides himself on being good at these.
What a managerial contrast, Dazzler.
Yeah.
Louis Macari and Dick Campbell.
Louis? Is it Lou Macari?
Well, those of us who knew him well called him Louis.
I think you're splitting hairs a bit there. I wouldn't worry about that.
But is that his real... Is it Lou or Louis?
Well, his real name is Luigi Macari. But
okay, we'll call him Luigi then.
I called him Louis when he was up here.
Yeah, Lou Macari and Dick Campbell.
Mm-hmm. What a contrast.
Brilliant.
With a VAR check there because Cartwright, who came on at half time for Falkirk, who started brilliantly in the second half, by the way, going wave for wave of attack, he had a shot blocked, VAR check for a penalty, but it looked like it was drilled straight at him, and that one is not given. So there we go.
That's the response that John McGlynn would have wanted. Again, he'd been saying to his players at half time, listen, if you get the next goal, then you're back in the game and put pressure onto this Hibs side.
I don't wish to worry you representatives of North Lanarkshire, but until Mother will get a second goal here.
You're absolutely right.
100%. This game ain't over.
Lovely piece of play there where, you know, again, for all the talk of passing out and short passing, Callum Ward is brilliant with his feet. He's zinged a big diagonal about 40 yards right onto the toe of Katrumbis. He then makes it all the way to the byline, but when he cuts it across, no real takers, and out it goes, I think, for a corner to Motherwell. Aguiman, we said, the substitute at the break, he's caused a lot of issues already. He's now had an effort high and wide. If they can take advantage of this early pressure, it could be a very different end to the afternoon than the one many people envisaged when Hibs went 2-0 in front.
Should we have a Saturday where we just use Americanisms?
That's a good idea.
This ball game ain't over.
Oh, I like that.
Motherwell have the football.
Elliot Watt curled it right into the onion bag.
Soccer
game.
Yeah.
The Fir Park.
I really like that. That's a good idea from you, especially tonight, if we can confirm our venues for this evening.
We should come in dressed as Ted Lasso.
You should you could make it more region specific as well. You could go Boston accent or New York accent, depending on what you need.
When I met the man from Motherwell, I was in a bar deli, as they have in New York, and the man had a very heavy kind of Brooklyn accent. And what was it? What a bacon sandwich.
Oh my goodness! Right, we're about to offend the entire city of New York here.
Yeah, that was
no, it was a corned beef. You want a corned beef sandwich?
Where is he from?
Anyone else wish we had been drawn in Mexico? Right, don't forget to get your answers in on that teaser. We're not that far away from the phone lines as well, so have a little think about what you want to share with the panel tonight. That's the beauty of it. You get in touch and just let us know.
We'll get the first goal in the championship this afternoon, Gordon, and it comes at Dingwall, and it's for Airdrie against Ross County. Gallagher after 57 minutes.
Nobody in Scottish football, pound for pound, is having a worse season than Ross County. That would be my theory.
Yeah.
Yep.
For all this, you know, I get Rangers underperforming and so on, but my goodness, everybody tipped them to be first and maybe second in the championship.
I just can't get my head around their form, and when Tony Docherty goes in there, you automatically think the experience, you look at their squad, everything about the club, it should get better, and it's just not. They're in real trouble, by the way, because they are in an absolute relegation battle. If they get beat today, they drop to bottom of the table.
That's outrageous, isn't it?
Incredible.
When you hear the stories about some of the wages that people, you can probably make assumptions as well. You know, some players with big reputations going up there, but don't think it's coming cheap.
Well, the managerial duo, for a start.
Yeah.
Tony Docherty and Callum Davidson, I mean, they won't come cheaply. So, as Cammy says, you know, if that scoreline becomes a result, Ross County are bottom of the table. We're nearly at the halfway stage.
Yeah, it is remarkable. No, your old pal, double manager of the month winner, no breakthrough yet.
No breakthrough. I'll keep my
penalty. Motherwell, Johnny Katrumbis. We said he's been playing out of position. He's right-footed. He's playing at left back. He's having a brilliant game. He's tearing up and down the left-hand side, and he does exactly what you're looking to do when he goes on to the long ball. He takes him across the defender. If there is contact, which I'm sure VAR will check, it is completely accidental, but you just know exactly it's what the heels get clipped, and if there is contact, the ref's got really no.
Who's your penalty
choice.
taker?
Stamatolopoulos, probably, now that he's on the pitch.
A big moment in the game, isn't it? A huge moment, because you feel like
points in the bag.
Yeah, if they
scores his
score
last
this,
three,
then that'll be it, because can you see Motherwell, Livingston scoring 2 against Motherwell at home? Absolutely not. So I think it's a huge moment.
I think it's one of those that probably will be given. He's going to be. There's like no way he would go down. Do you know what I mean? It's not something you would dive, and there's nothing else that could really.
Is it again? Is the touch that's went across, and he's managed? Contact.
You can almost just tell on those ones. So Stamatolopoulos will indeed take it and try and put Motherwell 2 up, which would be a long way back. He scored his last few penalties. Does that mean he's
straight down the middle?
What do you think?
Straight down the middle goal.
You going for goal, are you?
No, 100%. Yeah.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Yeah, very casual into the corner, and Motherwell lead Livy by 2-0.
And that's the end of the ball game.
I don't mind when you do it with other teams.
But I hope Big Marv doesn't look up where the man operating the VAR lives. That's all I can say.
Even he, I don't think, will have too many complaints.
Marvin Bartley?
I know, but you've got sometimes they're just so obvious.
Complains about Saturday becoming Sunday.
Yes, Stamatolopoulos almost just waits for the goalkeeper to move, rolls it into the corner. So Motherwell 2-0 up on Livy. So we've got a few 2-0s now.
Yep. Is Falkirk still? Are they still looking strong in that?
Still doing okay. Again, it's one of those that you probably have to make that period count, don't you?
Yeah.
You tell us.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I think, well, certainly what we've heard is they started the second half really strong and creating opportunities, which is a worry for Hibs and David Gray.
Are you happy with this as a striker? Because I know you're greedy and you want glory, but you also didn't really care about playing football that much.
No.
So you score the penalty,
and you get subbed.
You wheel away in celebration, and then you just keep going to the dugout and just go off.
Mate, I love it.
Is that your dream day?
I love it. Yeah.
Callum Hendry replaces Apostolos.
Somebody have the bath run for you with the bubbles in it.
I'm going to tell you, I could have scored in the first 4 minutes. They could have subbed me, and I'd have shook his hand on the way off. Dunfermline will go 1 up against a Broth.
Oh.
Lenny sitting in the stand.
Yep.
Montagno's gone off. Is it another change as well? No, Hendry for Stamatolopoulos was the Motherwell one that we spoke about. That game at Falkirk that you mentioned is a lot more even now, because that's sometimes what happens, isn't it? When you can't make that pressure count. We said they were on top at the start of the second half.
Yeah. I think it's important for Falkirk that they keep going, but again, you really need to get that goal pretty quickly in the second half, because you've got to make that pressure count, especially if you're creating opportunities and working the goalkeeper. It's so important you try and get the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, and they're going to drop out of the top 6.
Yeah, with Aberdeen.
Leapfrog them with goal difference.
Just to prove that it can do this all day long, Hugh Keevins, doesn't matter how tenuous. Christian Montagno off for Livy. Joshua, is it Brennett, is that how you would pronounce it, has come on. What's the World Cup link?
Oh,
anybody?
His father played with a country.
Oh no, it's way more direct than that.
Alright.
He represents Curaçao internationally and is going to the World Cup. A Livy player going to the World Cup for Curaçao.
Well, he won't be there long.
Where's Curaçao? Where is that? I need to get my globe out.
That's the one that Dick Advocat manages. So it's a Caribbean island.
Nice work.
Mitov confidently catches Astley's cross there. He's looked a bit more assured today after a difficult midweek.
Aberdeen, Scotland, George Hurst scores for Ipswich as well.
There we go. We're here all afternoon. No shortage of links. Elliot Watt's taking a head knock for Motherwell, so there is a bit of a delay there. Let's revisit the teaser, Hugh, whilst we have a lull.
Right. Struggling with this one.
Yeah. In my career, I played alongside Mick Supatalainen, Tom Boyd and Alan McGregor. I was managed by Lou Macari and Dick Campbell. I won the Scottish Premier Division title and the Scottish League Cup in the same season. And 2 seasons before, I won the Scottish Cup. Who am I?
Okay, great answers coming in. Well, I mean, they're wrong, but I mean, a great range. McGursey thinks it could be Gordon Petrich.
Oh, no.
Kevin thinks it could be Owen Coyle.
Nope.
Brian McGinley wants to throw Mark Burchill into the mix.
Burchie, nope.
Okay, it's a good question. It is a good question, so keep them coming, please.
Has Andy got it right, Gordon?
There might be. So we'll see. I mean, it's obviously a yes, isn't it? Otherwise I would have just said no.
No, yeah, exactly. There might be. That means yes.
That's not the point.
What about you, Cammy? Any guesses?
Not yet.
You'll love it.
I'll love it.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with this.
No.
Well, mind you, you've had a hard weekend so far.
Yeah.
Oh, I always have a hard weekend.
Yeah.
No rest for the wicked for me. Got my Christmas presents to sort out as well.
Online, or do you go into the shops?
I love the shops, man.
Do you?
Yeah, I love the shops. I like going out and just blitzing it.
Right.
I don't buy a lot because I don't particularly.
You don't have a Christmas tree or anything in the flat, though, do you?
No.
You don't believe in all that stuff?
No, I don't put a card up or anything. So, any of my neighbours listening, don't waste your time, please. Because I don't even open them. Because then you've got to send one back.
Just recycle it straight away.
Man, just.
Films and songs officially start for me today. Official start.
It was his birthday yesterday.
Very childish about it. So I wait until my birthday's done yesterday, and then I go full in. 2-footed. I mean, Mrs. Duncan's been watching them since August, right? That's a real character flaw of hers. That's fine. But for me, very easy. Every year, black and white. 5th of December is the birthday. 6th of December is when Christmas begins. That seems fair.
So when do you watch?
No.
When do you watch It's a Wonderful Life?
Christmas Eve, specifically Christmas Eve.
Right.
Were you a little bit hurt yesterday that you didn't get the recognition of your birthday?
No.
Cash for Kids?
No.
It's quite bad, John.
No. There is a story there, as you well know, and that's why you're trying to wind me up. Hurt? No. Because why on earth would you want your birthday publicly announced at something like that? That is my worst nightmare. I know listening to this you might think that you like being the centre of attention when you're a radio host, but no, that's my worst nightmare. However, they did say, didn't they, over the mic, they said 700 people in the room, we've got a birthday in the room, they said, and they brought out a birthday cake. So I started practicing my best surprised face.
There's a big goal.
You know, like an Oscar winner would do.
Yep.
I'm shuffling forward in my seat, and it was just for somebody else. Just some guy in the crowd.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The years of service I've given this radio station, honestly.
Unbelievable.
We see Gary Spence,
Not
Stephen Mill.
Not that I'm bitter about it.
You know what
honestly.
they're like.
Right, we think we've got to go. Let's do it anyway. There is a VAR check, but we'll give it its moment.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it would shake things up because it's a goal Dundee. It's a Simon Murray header from a corner at the near post. But there's going to be a VAR check, and whilst we do that, let's give you another one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And St Mirren have doubled their advantage as Keanu Bacchus doesn't score loads, but he has found the back of the net today. And Jim Goodwin, he loves Paisley, but not today, because he finds his team Dundee United 2-0 down. And guess what, Cammy Bell, it's more goalkeeping woe for United.
Is it? Right, okay.
Kucherenko, of course, had a nightmare. He is injured, is the official line. Dave Richards has come in, done okay, and now he's made a mistake, and St Mirren are 2-0 up.
But this is what happens again. There's even Richards, when the change is made, all the scrutiny and all.
Stop it!
Go on.
Goal flashes.
All happening.
Go on.
M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal given Dundee, so game on, and goal Falkirk, so game on at Easter Road as well. Ethan Ross puts it past Salinger. We did say Falkirk have been worthy of it in the opening stages of the second half. This is magnificent. What an afternoon.
Well, grandstand finish to the day. at every ground. I suspect Motherwell will be over the line. They're 2-0 up. I can't see that being affected. Dundee.
Livy could go and do a Dundee and a Falkirk.
Dundee, interesting. St Mirren, Dundee United all over for me. 2-0. Dundee United. As I said earlier on, there's no consistency in this league. They were seconds away from beating Rangers in midweek. Had to settle for a draw, and now we've gone back to the norm.
To be fair, they're consistently not winning games. They're perfectly consistent at the moment. It has been checked for offside, that Falkirk goal, just to...
Okay, and it looks like Ross County will be bottom of the championship. Airdrie have doubled their lead.
That's remarkable.
That's remarkable.
It really is. And talking about the next goal at Fir Park being important, Callum Hendry, who come on, misses an absolute sitter. You know Callum Hendry, son of the guy who was the last captain to go to the World Cup. Do this all day.
Braveheart.
It's no goal for Falkirk. So Hibs stay 2-0 in front. There is a curling ball in. Son of Braveheart is right on the 6-yard line, completely unmarked, and he just gets the timing all wrong when that way they try to throw his head at it and it sort of bounces off and goes wide. That is a massive let off. Marvin Bartley's out with these horrendous black and yellow trainers on, according to David Friel. On the touchline as Livy make a few changes as well to try and get themselves back into it.
They need a reaction, they need a goal to give them something to go for.
And that's a big let off for Hibs, and it'll be interesting to see if David Gray reacts to that they've had that let off, because Falkirk certainly look as if they've been the team on top in the second half, and they're going for that goal to put pressure on Hibs. So Hibs need to do something to stem the float.
If Ross County go bottom, Cammy,
it looks like that. They're 2-0 down.
22 points behind league leaders St Johnstone and Partick Thistle. And 22 points.
Right in saying Tony Docherty and Callum Davison have been there a while now. They've been in charge, and
would you go two managerial sackings?
That was my next question: is when do they become under pressure that it's maybe just not worked? And sometimes it doesn't work, and Roy McGregor, the owner of the club, will have a decision to make, because ultimately they can't keep going in this direction, because that result today is a really poor one. And I'm no disrespect to Airdrie, but Ross County should be beating Airdrie at home.
We spoke about Motherwell's depth in various areas. Callum Slattery and Manny Longello come on. They would be in most people's starting 11. Oscar Priestman as well. Johnny Katrumbis, Elliot Watt and Elijah Just go off. So remember, that Falkirk goal did not stand. Hibs do still have a 2-goal advantage, as do Motherwell. Aberdeen's advantage has been halved though. Dundee are back in it, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of response they can offer towards the end of this game. They're at home, they've got the home crowd behind them. Stephen Presley has been encouraged with bits of the performances recently. Can they turn that into something? Teaser again, please, Hugh. Sorry, teaser again, Hugh, while we can.
Okay, I, in my career, played alongside Mixu Patalainen, Tom Boyd and Alan McGregor. Was managed by Lou Macari and Dick Campbell. Won the Scottish Premier Division title and Scottish League Cup in the same season. And 2 seasons before that, won the Scottish Cup. Who am I?
KC wants to go for Kevin Thompson.
Oh, no.
And Chris wants to try Paul Hartley.
No, been everywhere, Paul, but he's not the man.
Okay, let's keep them guesses flowing in if we can, and we'll get a winner or 3 on the podium certainly before we disappear. Bit of a stalemate for your old pal and your old club there, Gordon. Dalziel United 0, Partick Thistle 0, 20 minutes to go.
See, to be fair, I don't think that would be a bad point if you go down there and get a 0-0. Because they're in good form as well. And with the fact that St Johnstone still aren't winning at home, it could be a decent day for Mark and Partick.
It's great when you've got 2 teams going for it like that, because then you can spin it both ways. It either becomes, it's a good point and it's the same result as your rival, or it's a missed opportunity because they drop points and you had the chance. So we'll see how it plays out. But both, as Gordon Dalziel alludes to, Thistle, who are joint with St Johnstone on points, stay there because St Johnstone are drawing with Wraith and Thistle drawing at Ayr. The only games in between Dunfermline 1 are both 0 and Ross County 0, Airdrie 2.
Yeah, I think it's just important that Thistle just keep picking up points. Again, we know how difficult the Championship is, and to put runs together, so if you're not winning games, make sure you're still going into games and picking up points and building momentum. So I think it's so important that they just don't get beat today.
Dundee are on top now.
I fancy Dundee for a...
Do you?
Yeah. Edward Woodward equaliser.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get my head round this 60-second for a VAR check rule that Dave Cormack wants to bring in. I mean, by the way, there are loads that definitely should always be looking for ways to improve, no doubt about it, but don't know about that one.
Dave will be looking for a 60-second finish to this game in case they get caught.
And by the way, see if there's a nice 3-minute VAR check that leads to Aberdeen getting a penalty and winning this game. I'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
If it's the right decision, of course. But yeah, Dundee on top. Motherwell looking to get in behind there. Danny Wilson came across and defended well, but Livy really needs something quite soon, you would imagine.
I think their goose is cooked.
Don't forget, when the phone line's open, there's plenty of time for reflection, but also previewing as well, because we've got Rangers going down to Kilmarnock at 8 o'clock. I don't know if 8 o'clock on a Saturday evening is your idea of a good football kick-off time, or maybe it's brilliant because you've been out all day looking forward to it. But we can preview that one, and of course, in terms of ingredients to a game, a top-of-the-table clash between Celtic and Hearts when Celtic have a new manager in the dugout for the first time. That is a lot to look forward to at Celtic Park tomorrow, so we'll do that as well. You're about half an hour away from the phone lines being open, so get your thoughts into us, please. We'd love to speak to you. And again, we're going to hear the confirmed venues, hopefully, before we disappear for the World Cup. So if you've booked your flights, you've booked your hotel, you've been doing your research, I'd love to hear your plans, really would.
I've tried to digest every word that Wilfred Nancy has said, both to the club's television station and to the mainstream media yesterday. And it's all very interesting, his philosophy and his belief that he's the right man for Celtic. But nothing works better than a match. And when that match is against the joint league leaders, then it becomes interesting from the get-go, as they say in America. 3 o'clock tomorrow. That's when we've read all the stuff, got the philosophy, understand it all, but it's games now.
It's going to be interesting, Hugh, to see how he handles this. Will he get in and will he have a look at what Martin O'Neill's achieved and just keep it simple in the same way? Or will he get in and think, no, against Hearts, I'm stamping my own authority in this and change one or two things about it?
I think he said yesterday it's going to have to be gradual.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of chat. Everyone kept talking about he plays 3 at the back. There is no way he walks in there. I'm scared in case someone plays this back when I get it wrong. You can't surely go in on Friday,
play a 3,
and then play a back 3 on the Sunday.
I think the risks are too big. He's not had enough time in the training field. He's not had even enough time to probably have meetings and explain what he's looking for.
Still be learning everybody's name.
Absolutely, in his formation. So I just feel the risks are far, far too big. For me, he's right. If he's saying it's going to be small changes at this moment in time, then I think that's a right approach. Celtic have been winning games, so there's no need, and I know they've not been at their brilliant best, I understand that, but there's no need to go in and rip it up and put yourself at a huge risk.
And Arbroath are back in the game at Freestone Park, 1-1. Lenny not happy.
But the big problem that Nancy has, Cammy, I mean, the Celtic squad just gets weaker and weaker because of injury, and the same players are asked time and time again, and the effect it's having on them. They were very fortunate against St Mirren. They were hanging on for dear life against Hibs last Sunday, and by all accounts they scored early. Dalziel made it against Dundee, but thereafter it was nervy time.
No, and listen, I fully appreciate it. I've seen them several times this season, and they've not been at their best, but I think they have been hugely, you're right, affected by injuries, lack of depth in the squad, and quality probably as well. So listen, he's just got to navigate his way through tomorrow, try and get the 3 points, which would be a huge victory, and then he's got Roma and then the cup final. A massive week for him.
I think he's the most left field appointment since Dr. Joseph Venglos.
Ronnie Dyler?
Well, Ronnie Dyler,
similar. I'm not trying to catch you. There's not much in it. It's not a gotcha, but it would be similar, surely.
Ronnie Dyler got away with it because Rangers weren't in the major league.
No, I know,
at
but
that
I'm
time.
talking about the nature of like that appointment. Because
Well-
he was young as well. In fact, he would have been younger than Wilfried Nancy,
Yeah.
I think, at the time, coming from Norway. European though, I take that point.
Yeah. But Dr. Joe, famous for two things. He signed Luba Moravcik, and they beat Rangers 5-1 one afternoon. And that was about it. So Wilfried Nancy has to come here, and by all accounts there are people in America who come from Scotland who rave about him. As I say, games and only games will provide the evidence for our eyes, and that starts at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what he's got. As you touched on, he's come into 3 brilliant big games, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people looked at that and thought, well, keep Martin O'Neill in charge for these 3 big games because of the way things were going under Martin. But I think if you're a new manager, that is some challenge to come into.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that for sure when the phone lines open. Celtic fans, Hearts fans, we'd love to hear from you. We're talking World Cup, we're talking Kilmarnock Rangers, and of course the staple of the Saturday phone line as we look back on the day's action. And Motherwell are 2-0 up against Livingston. Hibs are 2-0 up against Falkirk. It's St Mirren also 2-0 up against Dundee United, and Dundee 1, Aberdeen 2. Reminder of your teaser, please, Hugh, if we can.
I have played alongside Mixu Patalainen, Tom Boyd and Alan McGregor. I have been managed by Lou Macari and Dick Campbell. I have won the Scottish Premier Division title and the Scottish League Cup in the same season, and 2 seasons before that I won the Scottish Cup. Who am I?
Some really good spread of answers coming in. That always tells me it's a good question. Jungle Boy thinks Paul Sheeran.
No.
Scott Fleming thinks Jackie McNamara.
No.
Right, okay. We're getting there though. We are getting there. At Clyde SSB, still time for you to throw some guesses in, please. I would like to hear from you. 25 to 5. So like I said, hopefully we get a bit of confirmation quickly on the World Cup venues. It was this time last night. Everyone thought we were close to finding out the draw, and then it took about what felt like 6 more hours once we got through all manner of awkwardness.
The day I left for America for the World Cup finals, Celtic sacked Lou Macari.
Oh, there you go.
And did they call him Louis?
No,
Louis
it was Fergus McCann, and he always referred to him as Luigi Macari. So, and then I got a phone call in New York one day, and it was Fergus McCann. Who do you think should be the next Celtic manager?
And did you tell him?
I went for my pal, because I believed that he...
Who was your pal?
Tommy Burns.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So Fergus McCann took your...
No, not just me. He was phoning people.
That's incredible.
But in New York, I didn't expect it. I was in the Giant Stadium in New Jersey, and he called, and I was in the press room.
And he says, "Who do you think should be next manager?"
Yeah.
Oh, that's class, huh?
Great.
See if to gives you a buzz. Stick me in Cammy's name, would you?
I think Neil Lennon, funnily enough, left Celtic the day I was flying to America.
Yeah.
Not for the World Cup draw, incidentally. I've got a good knack of life events making me miss big managerial departures. I remember someone at Sky phoning this year and saying, Philippe Clement's been sacked, could you just nip along to Ibrox whilst I was in the Labour suite? Better not.
No. Diplomacy.
It's not advisable, is it?
No.
Probably shouldn't have taken the call at all for what it's worth, but there you go. Motherwell still fairly comfortable there at Fir Park. You just wonder what the atmosphere's like at Denslow, surely. The Dundee fans will be looking to urge them on. Danda's now had a long range drive actually deflected away for a corner. So can Dundee muster something? That would be a real blow to Aberdeen. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be a bit of a stretch to imagine them losing this game from here, and we did say that their unbeaten record in the league is fairly decent recently, but once you're 2-0 up,
you're
against a team
disappointed.
struggling at the bottom,
especially the week that it's been as well. The drop points were last minute against St Mirren, so if they were to drop more points from the position they've been in this game, they'll be hugely disappointed.
And on that, we said earlier Stephen Robinson was clear in his messaging. He said that was a turning point for them. Well, on the basis of today, he's right, because they're 2-0 up against Dundee United.
Oh, they've had such a miserable run. He's been so concerned about it, but it's the last game before the cup final, and you've got a home victory to get everyone up for the cup.
Yep.
Oh, Ross County back in it. 2-1. 2-1.
Interesting last 10 minutes.
Still nothing between Ayr and Partick Thistle.
No,
82nd minute.
No, I've been looking and just the word from Somerset is it's boring.
Maybe just
two Celtic managers talking about what they've won in the dugout.
I still love you, Bruni. I'm sorry, my team's above yours in the league, but I still love you. And posters of you on my wall.
Bruni.
What about St Johnstone?
Still 0-0.
Yeah, St Johnstone 0, Wraith 0.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about
10 minutes.
Ross County, but I mean,
we did say we're set up for a big finish at Easter Road. Who's got the next goal in that one? Let's find out.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hibs are home and hosed. Boyle taps the ball home. He already scored from the penalty spot earlier. He's now converted from close range, and it's 3-0 to Hibs. Falkirk might feel hard done by. They came out flying at the start of the second half. They thought they'd scored, and now they find themselves 3-zip down, and that will be that, Hugh Keevins.
1 week you're driving the Rangers fans mad at Ibrox and getting a draw. The next weekend, bang, bang, bang.
I actually didn't see that coming, Cammy. I think you would always kind of favour Hibs for obvious reasons if you were forced to pick one, but I think Falkirk have been so good in loads of different types of challenge this season. They went to Celtic Park and lost 4-0. But other than that, Ibrox, Rangers at home, everybody they've played. We mentioned the informed team in Motherwell the other night. Falkirk have been really good. Been surprised that they're 3-0 down.
Yeah, no, again, they're probably chasing that goal because they know how important it is. They're committing men forward, and it sounds as if Hibs have caught them on a kind of counter-attack. I think it's Bowie that's put the ball in the back of it.
Bowie, so there we go. It's him that's got the double then.
And again, that's it. We refer back to the Scotland. He's hit the ground running. He's seen the draw last night, and it's given him a real confidence boost. So yeah, it's a big goal for Hibs that, because it's game over.
It's kind of end-to-end for Park. It's not really Motherwell's style to sit back and protect. A big long lung-busting run that looked like a great opportunity. Livy nicked it off the toe and then strode forward up the other end. So what's happening there? And Livy really need something if they've got any chance.
Kieran Bowie's goal means that Rangers will kick off tonight, Cammy, 4th in the league.
Yeah.
Now that adds to
huge pressure.
The necessity.
Yeah, listen, for me it's a massive, it's a must-win for Rangers at a difficult venue. I know Kilmarnock haven't been great this season. I've got a lot of injuries and suspensions to deal with, but it's still not an easy place to go. But it is almost a must-win for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. As I say, they're 9 points behind Celtic. They have to cut that to 6 and put Wilfred Nancy under pressure tomorrow at Celtic Park. They cannot have Wilfred Nancy having the possibility of going 12 points ahead of Rangers, or questions will be asked.
Yep.
What time are we on? Should we finish off the teaser? Maybe we should, just to leave any window for any late drama, any late excitement. Let's do it, Hugh.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
In my career, I played alongside Mick Supatalainen, Tom Boyd and Alan McGregor. I was managed by Lou Macari and Dick Campbell. I won the Scottish Premier Division title and the Scottish League Cup in the same season. And 2 seasons before that, I won the Scottish Cup. I am Simon Donnelly.
Simon Donnelly. The wee bonus.
That's a sneaky one.
The bonus clue would have been I am still the youngest person to have been to a men's World Cup with Scotland. That would have been your bonus clue. But there we are, it was Simon Donnelly. Played for Dunfermline when Alan McGregor was on loan.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
We played with Mixu Patalainen at St Johnstone.
The only scary thing about that question, I don't think Simon would have got that.
He's in Paris, I don't think he'll be listening. Yeah. He's living it up over there, isn't
he? He's good lady's 50th. He's away to Paris.
He is indeed. But well done anyway if you got it right. And it shows the standard. Our listeners, their football knowledge is top. Loads of people got it, honestly.
Never get that.
Hinky Scales Moravchik was in 3rd place. Wee Scooch was in 2nd. And Conor McNair was in 1st. They sent them over on Twitter. I think Maxie's got your number as well on here. He says, tell Hugh, Joe Venglos managed Czechoslovakia twice, Aston Villa, Slovakia and Fenerbahce before he came to Celtic. So no, appointing Nancy's not really the same, is it?
Well,
that's at least the tone I imagined them to say it in.
Yeah. But tell him But the only thing he did was to beat Rangers 5-1 one day and sign Lubo.
Yeah, he's talking about the left field nature of the appointment. Anyway, one of these to distract us.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell 3, Livingston 0, and it is Manny Longello. It said it was stretched, it was very open, and that's going to suit Motherwell, isn't it? They're so precise and a lot of pace on the break when Longello comes on. He's the left back, but he's the one that goes and finishes it off. He gets a round of applause from his manager Jens Bertel Askew, and Motherwell lead Livingston by 3-0.
Marvin Bartley will be a surly individual when he comes in here next week. He's not happy with things in general, so you'll all get it in the neck.
Try tomorrow. He's in tomorrow.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Oh well.
Again, another brilliant result for Motherwell, though, isn't it? It's 3 points. They just keep marching on. You fancied them today, but they need to go and deliver it. They've done it in style. And again,
I think they'll take a look from the first pass to Reagan Charles-Cook to see if that's offside.
Okay.
And if it isn't and it stands, it's a devastating goal for Motherwell. Like, real precise stuff. And as we mentioned, Manny Longello being the one who comes and finishes it off from left back. The goal does indeed stand. It's his 5th of the season from left back.
Brilliant.
You'll remember he scored against Rangers on the opening day. He got one in the 3-3 draw at Hearts.
But that's what we touched on before. The goals don't need to come from Motherwell, and the style of play don't need to come from their striker. Yes, they need to contribute to it, but I think the style of play suits goals from all areas on the pitch.
And you need that as well, Gordon. It's such a key part of modern football. Maybe it's always been the athleticism. The Motherwell midfielders are so tidy, they're so precise, but Longello's pace and power up and down the left.
Brilliant, hasn't he? He's been absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you another thing that'll please the Motherwell manager this afternoon if it goes like this 3-0 is a clean sheet.
Is that 3 in a row?
Yeah, it's brilliant. They're absolutely flying. A bit disappointing for Livingston, but I think everybody fancied Motherwell today.
Are we nearly done then? Is there any way back for Dundee? That's all we've really got left, I think, in terms of the late drama.
Well, Dazzler thinks they will.
Yeah, you did say that.
I fancy a wee shock up there.
4 added at Motherwell. I don't think David Martindale and Marvin Bartley will be too bothered. They would be happy to just call it a day there. But Stephen Presley's the one. He's hoping he gets a good bit of time added on. And hopefully, you'd imagine at the very least they can throw the old kitchen sink and try and make life really uncomfortable for Aberdeen at the end.
Yeah, you'd think the directness, and again you look at the goals that Aberdeen have conceded recently as well, that set pieces a little bit vulnerable, so certainly you'd be absolutely throwing everything at you. I touch on Mitov, he looked very, very suspect midweek, so you're asking questions of him in the last couple of minutes.
Having lost a last gasp goal against St Mirren midweek at Pittodrie, they can't be going and losing another one in the game that follows.
There's a huge crowd at Easter Road, just shy of 19,000, and the vast majority of them are very happy at what they have witnessed. So
the rest have gone home, surely.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. Producer John, wonder if he's there.
Oh, he'll
be there. He'll be there.
Having a miserable day.
Yeah, but
he was so chuffed with Falkirk's tactical plan to stop Motherwell during the week as well.
He'll be weeping quietly into his coffee.
It's actually Aberdeen who've got a bit of a chance there at Dens. Keskinen finds Nisbet. The shot is charged down. Kevin Nisbet again, outside chance. We're putting him. Is he a good bit outside?
He's down the pecking order for me.
Yeah.
Down the pecking order. Do you agree with that?
Yep, totally.
Yeah, I'd find it hard to disagree at the moment. No, still plenty of Falkirk fans in.
We'll
be hoping for something. 6,500 in Paisley, and again, the majority of them will be delighted because they look like they're going to cruise to a comfortable victory. Still 4 to be added at Paisley, but it would take something spectacular from Dundee United for that to alter.
In terms of the cup final, how big an advantage is it that St Mirren have no football to play now until a week tomorrow, but Celtic have a big European tie Thursday night, as well as Hearts tomorrow?
Yeah, it just depends on one, the result, because it gives you that confidence going into the final. Secondly, injuries.
Yeah,
picking up some more injuries would be probably the big concern for me.
What I would say is Celtic are well used to it, though. They're well used to entering, going into cup finals, having to play a lot of football, pressure games. So listen, you still, I certainly would still put Celtic firm favourites to go and lift the trophy. But you're right, it gives Stephen Robinson, it's a brilliant afternoon for him. Ideal that he gets a bit of confidence around his team. He's got a full over a week to work on his team to get them prepared for the cup final.
Roger Hanna makes a good point. 6,000 in Paisley today, but 12 going to Hampden, so they're all taking a +1. Bring along a pal and get the numbers in for the cup final. Livy actually with a decent chance on the break, but forced wide. Callum Ward comes out and makes a good stop. I said earlier it's a bit of a myth that Motherwell play themselves into trouble, but they did on this occasion. And Yengi first of all, and then Muirhead couldn't quite take advantage. And up the other end, David Field telling us it really is swinging. Motherwell so close to making it 4-0, and Prior pushing away an effort from Callum Slattery. So nice to see them both still going at this so late on in the game when it looks done and dusted.
So now St Mirren could leapfrog Dundee and Kilmarnock in the table by 10 o'clock tonight, and that would be another psychological boost for them. You don't want to be sitting second bottom of the league when you're in a cup final.
Yeah, because Stephen Robinson said last week we're in a relegation battle, and then he said midweek this is a turning point. So I don't know if he still feels they are, certainly if they get a victory today.
Well, it sounds like a lot of players playing for their places next week. You always get that, don't you? But I think you'd have got that.
Simon Murray turns and swipes at fresh air. Dundee looking for the equaliser. Full-time Motherwell, David Friel.
Full-time Gordon, Motherwell 3, Livingston 0. Another good day for Motherwell. The players can head for the Christmas party with 3 points in the bag, and it was well deserved. Elliot Watt, Apostolos Stamatopoulos and Emmanuel Longello scored the goals. They stay ahead of Hibs and Rangers game down at Rugby Park tonight. Motherwell were good throughout. Another impressive display from Jens Bertel Asku's men. They're now 8 games unbeaten in the league, and he's on to a really good thing. What a job he's doing, and this was another big 3 points. Regan Charles-Cook, he was impressive throughout as well. Caused Livy no end of problems. He helped create Elliot Watt's opener in 18 minutes. He burst down the byline. His cross was diverted to the midfielder who curled his shot into the corner. Livy did carry a threat, but Motherwell should have been 2-0 up before the break. Apostolos Stamatopoulos missed 2 decent chances. The game was still alive going into the second half. You can imagine Davy Martindale was urging his players to give more, and they almost scored with their first attempt. Mamadou Sissoko couldn't have caught a drive any better. It looked destined for the top corner, but Callum Ward made an outstanding save, and that proved to be a big moment as Motherwell made it 2-0 on the hour mark from the penalty spot. Johnny Katrumbis, he was good at left back. He latched onto a diagonal ball and was brought down by Lewis Smith. Ref Brian Lee was on the spot. He pointed to the penalty spot. That decision was backed up by VAR, and Stamatopoulos rolled his penalty into the corner. That was his final act of the game. He was subbed for Callum Hendry, and Callum Hendry, son of Collins, should have made it 3-0 unmarked inside the box, 6 yards out, but headed over the bar. Livy came back into it a bit. They had some chances, but you always felt Motherwell could get another one. They were so good on the break when Livy did get that pressure, and eventually did score with 2 minutes to go. Regan Charles-Cook broke through, unselfishly squared for Emmanuel Longello, and he did the rest with an easy tap in. Motherwell can celebrate. For Livy, it's more misery. At the bottom of the table, it's 23 years since they won at Firth Park, and they would take any kind of win soon. Full-time Motherwell 3, Livingston 0.
Full-time in Paisley, Roger Hanna.
The countdown to Hampden begins for St Mirren. St Mirren 2, Dundee United 0, and the perfect tonic for the Buddies as they head in to next Sunday's Premier Sports Cup final against Wilfried Nonsi's Celtic at the National Stadium. It had been 1 win in 9 for the Saints going into this game. That, of course, a semi-final triumph over Motherwell at Hampden. But they look reborn, they look ready for their biggest game in a dozen years next week. Conor McMahon would open the scoring with a great back post header after 17 minutes. The delivery from the left, equally good from Declan John. They could have been further ahead at the break as they bossed Jim Goodwin's Dundee United. Goodwin, of course, the last St Mirren captain to lift that League Cup in the final win over Hearts back in 2013. The second goal did come then, though, at 66 minutes, and it was more goalkeeping woe for United. A ball in from the left. The outstanding Killian Phillips left highest at the back post. The header looked routine for Dave Richards in the United goal, but inexplicably he pushed it straight out to substitute Keanu Bacchus, who lashed the ball home from close range for 2-0. Bacchus might have added a third near the end, curling Ashoji's inches beyond the far post. But United looked dead on their feet after their exertions against Rangers on Wednesday night. It's now just 1 win in 10 for Goodwin. They are stuck in the bottom 6. St Mirren tonight are out of the relegation playoff place. They're back to winning ways. They're ready for Hampden. And what a few days it's going to be in Paisley. St Mirren 2, Dundee United 0.
Finished Easter Road, Tom Grant.
Yes, the Highbees, Hibs 3, Falkirk nil. The Highbees climb to 4th place as they see past a spirited Falkirk here in Leith. The Bairns drop down to 7th, and in truth, John McGlynn will be wondering why it took his side 45 minutes to turn up. Because Falkirk couldn't get anything going in the opening period. Hibs making all the early running. Chris Cadden having an early effort that was tipped wide by Scott Bain, and from the resulting corner, Liam Henderson rose above Rocky Bashiri to clear the ball from the Falkirk goal line. The Highbees weren't creating anything clear cut at this stage, not just reward for their dominance, and Falkirk could have nicked one against the run of play on 22 minutes. Brad Spencer having an effort saved by Raphael Salinger. But it was David Gray's side who got themselves in front via the penalty spot. Martin Boyle brought down in the box by Spencer, and the Hibs captain stuck away the penalty. Kieran Bowie gave the Hibs the cushion they craved just 4 minutes before the break. The big striker bagging his 6th goal of the season, the 5th in the Premiership, when he curled a sumptuous left-footed effort past Bain. However, by that point you'd have been a brave man to call this one over, keeping in mind Falkirk fought back from 2 down earlier in the season, and they came out for the second half looking determined to do it again. Henry Cartwright and Alfie Ajiman came in off the bench, and Ajiman in particular was causing all sorts of problems early on, battling with Bashiri and causing general panic in the Hibs defence. Their pressure almost got them back into the game. Ethan Ross found himself clean through and coolly slotted home, only to have it chopped off for offside after a VAR check. That decision seemed to knock the wind out of the Falkirk sails a bit, although Ross did have another effort brilliantly saved by Salinger. It looked like that one was destined for the top corner before the Hibs number 1 tipped it over. But any doubt on where the points might be going was extinguished in 80 minutes. Josh Campbell, who had just come on off the bench, his first involvement, he flies down the right and puts it on a plate for Bowie in the middle, who tucks home from close range. A first win in 3 for Hibs, and what a big 3 points as they travel to Rangers and Dundee United in their next 2. Then it's Hearts back here on the 27th. It finishes Hibs 3, Falkirk 0.
And we've even got a late goal. No prizes for guessing where it is, because there's only one game left on.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Aberdeen have scored another. Kevin Nisbet wraps it up with a lovely finish on the outside of the boot, and just like that, Dave Galloway, it's full time.
It's been quite an afternoon's entertainment here, Gordon. Dundee 1, Aberdeen 3. You can hear the huge Aberdeen support. You can hear what they think of it in the background. There, over 3,000 of them have come down the A90. They will go home happy. It was a bright start from both teams. The visitors went ahead on 17 minutes. Carlson found Lazetic, whose effort was parried by McCracken, and Aushish looked sharp to fire low into the net. The Dons on top, and Armstrong's curling free kick from at least 20 yards crashed off the post with McCracken beaten, and it was 2-0 in the 30th minute. Aushish with a very nice clip over McCracken after Carlson's effort was blocked. Then McCracken did very well to save from Lobben at the back post from a corner kick. To Dundee's credit, they showed good spirit as the first half advanced, and they tried at least to have a go at their hosts without creating anything clear cut. Aberdeen played some very good stuff in that first half. Dundee with a positive start to the second period, but Armstrong shot just wide for Aberdeen. However, the hosts pulled one back deservedly on the hour from a corner kick. Astley with the near post header, and the goal stood after a fairly lengthy VAR check. The D's really piled forward, and the Dons were wobbling visibly. Hamilton and Murray with shots blocked as they absolutely went for it. The visitors hanging on at this stage, and Danda's long range drive was deflected for a corner. Aberdeen regrouped and settled down a bit. Keskinen fed Nisbet, whose shot was charged down. Murray went down under Milne's challenge for the D's in the box, but to his fury, penalty claims were waved away. The striker hasn't had the best of days. He had also just done a neat little turn in the box and then had a total fresh air swipe at the ball. In the 91st minute, though, it was 3-1 Aberdeen with a quite outrageous goal by Nisbet, scoring an absolute cracker, a bending shot with the outside of his foot to make the final score. Dundee 1, Aberdeen 3.
And now it is over to you. A quick one before I remind you of the number. If you're out and about on the roads, I know it's a busy time of year, and maybe whatever game you're at, there is a car on fire on the M8 eastbound at Hillington. It's just happened, so avoid if you can. Over to the phones though, 01419511025. What's on your mind? Is it the World Cup draw? We're about an hour away at the most from finding out exactly where and when the games take place, so give us your thoughts there. Have you booked up yet? Are you about to? Let us know. What about today's action? Motherwell fans, how good was that? St Mirren fans, how good was yours? Hibs, very comfortable for you as well. And Aberdeen getting a vital winner. On to later. Rangers fans, just how big, how important is this game down there at Rugby Park? Would you like to see any changes? Do you have faith that Danny Rule can get a winning run back and start clawing back that deficit? Because tomorrow it's all about the top of the table clash. Celtic fans, how are you feeling? Wilfried Nancy's first game in charge. Do you expect big changes, subtle changes, no alterations at all? You tell us. Get your calls in. We're about to live stream the show as well. If you want to hop on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you generally watch it, and see how Hugh Keevins and Gordon Dalziel are holding up after the Cash for Kids lunch yesterday, you're more than welcome to watch that as well. So give us a call and we'll speak to you next.
You're living with cancer. You're waiting for results. It's 3 a.m. And while everyone's asleep, you're wide awake. What do? Join the Macmillan online community. It's a safe, anonymous online forum full of help, support, and friendship from people who know just what it's like to have cancer. To find them, search Macmillan Online Community.
Unwrap daily surprises this December with the Lidl Plus Advent Calendar. Every day until Christmas, you could get exclusive offers like money off coupons and even the chance to win a year's free shopping. Check the Lidl Plus app every day to open 24 unmissable offers. Lidl, more to value.
18 plus GB only while stocks last. Minimum spend required. Terms apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Give us a call. Let us know what you're thinking on this Saturday evening. Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are here. You can tune into the live stream as well if that floats your boat over on YouTube or Facebook or X or wherever you fancy it. And here for about the next hour or so, doing a couple of things. Spinning some plates as always, looking back in today's action. That means we want to hear from you, Motherwell, St Mirren fans. Comfortable wins for you in the local area. So what did you make of that? How important were they, particularly St Mirren fans, in terms of getting back to winning ways ahead of the cup final next week? So I'd love to hear from you. And Motherwell fans, some more lovely stuff, particularly one of the goals in particular, a really nice team move. So how good are you feeling about things? Let's look ahead to tonight as well. Rangers fans, you'll be getting ready to head down there for an 8 o'clock kick-off on a Saturday night at Kilmarnock. How important is this one? Danny Rule surely can't afford to fall any further behind. Would you make any changes to the team? Just give us your general thoughts ahead of that one. Celtic fans, what about tomorrow then? As if it's not exciting enough that it's a top of the table clash. Martin O'Neill did so well, he wiped out an 8-point deficit, turned it into 0. Hearts come to the East End of Glasgow tomorrow, and you've got a new manager in Wilfried Nancy. What are you expecting? Changes? Big changes? Small changes? No changes at all? What have you made of the new manager? And of course, the topic that nobody's ready to give up on yet, the World Cup draw. Confirmed last night that it will be Haiti, Brazil, Morocco that Scotland will face in the USA next summer. And hopefully, very soon, we're going to find out the exact dates, times and venues for those games as well. So if you've already booked up or you're about to press the button, we'd love to hear from you. 0141 951 1025. Anything else we've missed, Hugh? It feels like quite a list.
No, I mean, dealing with things in chronological order. Kilmarnock Rangers. Now, Motherwell have gone 3 points ahead of Rangers. Hibs have leapfrogged Rangers, and Rangers are now 4th in the table. So it's a double-edged sword as ever. If Danny Rule can get a performance out of his team, they cut the gap between themselves and Celtic to 6 points. If Danny Rule can't get a performance out of his team, it might be that Celtic go into Wilfried Nancy's first match tomorrow with the possibility of going 12 points ahead of Rangers, at which point pandemonium.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight's game. First and foremost, I think it'll be a difficult game, and then tomorrow the big one, the one we're all waiting for, under a new manager at Celtic. But it was good wins today, important wins for St Mirren, for instance. Another good win for Motherwell, doing absolutely brilliant. Aberdeen getting a result up at Dens, and then Hibs blowing away Falkirk at Easter Road. So it's been a good day for those teams, but all eyes will be firmly on Rugby Park tonight, because I think both teams probably need a result tonight. Would that be fair, Cammy?
Yeah. Listen, I think certainly Kilmarnock's form this season's not been great. They've got a lot of injuries to deal with, suspensions tonight. But again, we all know that Rugby Park's a difficult venue for any team to go to. But Rangers, for me, need to win tonight. They're under a lot of pressure. They need to go and get 3 points. Another draw is not good enough. They need to take all 3 points back home. So it's going to be an interesting game.
We love this part on a Saturday because you're jumping back in the car or on the bus or whatever after a game, and we love to think we're the first people you think of to get your opinions off your chest. And such is the schedule nowadays. The guys have alluded to it. We preview games to come tonight, tomorrow, and anything else that's out there. Thomas is a Motherwell fan. How are you, Thomas?
Yeah, good, thanks, you.
Good, thank you. What are you calling for? Impressed with what you witnessed today, I would guess?
Oh, really impressed. I think that's 8 unbeaten now in the league, I'm sure, if I read that right. But I was just sitting during the game. I think we were 2-0 up, and I was thinking to myself, you hear fans shouting, and I'm not too pleased with some of the passes and things. But you say that like a few months ago, after being 2-0 up, and how massive it is. Do you know what I mean? We're third in the league right just now. Obviously, Rangers play tonight, but I just think the trajectory and where we're going is just, you compare it to how we were a wee while ago. It's you know.
Yeah, cause, Gordon, that period when Motherwell weren't getting results, all you had to do was watch the games. You need to realise that they probably would come. There's never any guarantees, but you go back to the day they really controlled the game against Kilmarnock, and the goalie dropped it in the last minute. That's got nothing to do with your style or anything else, and Kilmarnock scored. They obviously, as we spoke about loads, 3-0 up at Tynecastle, and cruising is not even the word. But then again, I think the goalkeeper, a couple of errors, and credit to Hearts, they are where they are for a reason. So Thomas is talking about where they were, but you can understand why the manager always, to use one of the most annoying phrases in modern football, trusted the process.
Yeah, and he was quite right to do that, because it was not that long ago we were sitting here and you're thinking, if Livingston won tonight, then Motherwell get beat. They're bottom of the league, and you'd be thinking, oh, hold on a minute with this great football. They're sitting third, and they've been absolutely brilliant. The crowds are come flooding back. You've seen that, and good attendance today as well. I know Hearts played a big part in it last week with the travelling support, but the Motherwell fans are buying into this football, the style of football, everything that he's doing. The thing I love about the guy is he's a very, to me, active manager, a brave manager. He's making 4 changes, 5 changes. He's made 7 changes today, and you're thinking, why is he making all the changes? Because everything's going along quite nice. They get a good result against Hibs, played Hibs off the pitch. They got a good draw against Hearts, and maybe found themselves a bit unlucky not to win, pick up the 3 points, and then he makes 7 changes, and they still go and blow Livingston out the water. So you've got to hand it to him. He's doing a fantastic job.
He's been an inspired choice. There's no other description for it. An inspired choice to replace Michael Villa as manager. And they're not only winning games that they should win, such as today's, but they're winning it by a 3-goal margin, and with style enough to get Thomas on the phone straight away. So Jens Bertel Askew is one of the stories of the season.
Thomas, what have you made of this? It's the style, you can't get away from it. It's what everyone's speaking about. When I was out yesterday in a kind of cafe, and there was a guy just sitting next to me who was a Celtic fan, but he just leaned over and just wanted to talk about how impressed he was, with the way Motherwell are going about their business. I always think it's not that you need validation from other people, but it always tells a story when fans of other clubs are noticing it, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased with it, to be honest. You even see like players like Stephen O'Donnell and things, where over the past wee while fans were starting to take a wee dislike to things, but then he's just players like that are just still fitting into the system, and it's really good to see. And But I look at a player like Elliot Watt, and although a lot of changes are happening, if he got injured, that's one player I feel that would really struggle without. He's just been so good in all the games we've played and under Jens.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, hasn't he? I mean, he scored the opener today. He didn't play midweek, and Oscar Priestman played, and Mull didn't win the game, but 7 changes. He made 7 changes today. We spoke about the 5 that he made ahead of Hibs coming.
Yep.
You know, so it's not just like, I know Livy are struggling and it's a home game, but it's not just this. It was 5 for Hibs coming as well.
Listen, I just think the way that he manages his squad, he obviously trusts the ability within the squad as well, and he understands that all these players can play the style that he's wanting to play. And for me, if you've got a squad and you're able to rotate it like that, all the players are staying fresh. If you do get an injury, I know Thomas has mentioned Elliot Watt there. If he was to get injured, they might miss him. But again, you're not missing him as much because you've got guys that are coming in who have played a lot of football this season. It's not guys that have been sitting on the bench and getting 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. They've started a lot of games, and that's why I think he's been excellent within his management of his squad. He's obviously got a really good relationship with the players because they're all buying into it. They're all wanting to learn and listen and do what he's instructing them to do. So listen, it is a fantastic story. And I'm pretty sure all the Motherwell fans will just want it to continue for the rest of the season.
Your problem is his good work will go far and wide.
Oh, I knew you were going to say
somebody will take him.
You think so, Hugh?
Oh,
I think it's a bit early. Look, there's no doubt he's done a terrific job. I like the way, not just going to Falkirk at midweek and getting a 0-0, it's not the worst result in the world. But I like the way he can change not just personnel, but he changes his shape and everything to suit the game. And I like that. It's forward thinking from him. I think he's been brilliant for Motherwell, and long may it continue.
Thomas, if you were to look at just Motherwell's results, Motherwell's performances, Motherwell's league position, you would get your hopes up pretty high, wouldn't you, about where you could finish in the league? But then at the same time, there's not a lot in it. There's loads of teams that are really close by. You assume Rangers are going to get better at some point and all that stuff. What do you think the end game is?
The way I look at it just now, I'm not getting too sort of optimistic. I'm happy with the results, but we're almost setting up like a safety net, you know. Now, approaching midway through the season, so if poor results start to come, then we've already created that for ourselves, which is good, and it gives you a wee bit of comfort when you're going to the games and a wee bit of peace of mind, just even subconsciously. But obviously we're looking to push on and get as high up as we can, of course, but so just outside of that zone, down the bottom, is the most pleasing thing for me. So anything above that is an added extra though.
To be fair, Thomas sounds level-headed, right? But people do eventually raise their expectations, don't they? Because my personal view on this, see at the start when all this was happening and the style was good but the results weren't, I took a really basic view on it that in the last few seasons Motherwell will generally kind of finish 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th in that bracket, and I thought, see if they still finish there, but it's better to watch, then good, no harm done. I'm not saying the new style's going to rocket you up the league, but if you're going to finish there anyway, so be it. But now you would be looking at it and thinking,
you're looking top 5 easy.
Easy. Well, certainly 6 obviously with the natural split.
I know what you're saying, Gordon, but I'm looking at those 5 positions now, and then underneath that I think Motherwell could go at worst the top 5. Right,
worst,
yeah.
And look how tight it is. Do you know?
So tight.
I know. There's only 5 points to 7.
But they're dominating football games.
I get it.
Right, they're dominating. They're making changes. You quite rightly say there about he's keeping everybody ticking over and fresh. He's got a January window, and obviously Motherwell are going to back this guy. If this guy goes and says, "Look, I need a couple of players to kick on," I am sure the Motherwell board will do everything to help him out. So I know what you're saying, how tight it is and how the league changes from week to week, but it's the football they're playing, the confidence. They're dominating teams. They're not going and getting, a fluky 1-0 or a draw or whatever it may be and holding on. They're the guys that are dominating. Other teams are now looking to see, how can we stop Motherwell playing?
Yeah, and again, that's just a measure of where Motherwell are at just now. Falkirk have changed their style completely to try and go and nullify Motherwell during the week, to try and get a result out of the game. They managed to do that, but again, it just shows you how far Motherwell have came, that other teams, as you're right, Daz, are actually looking at the opposition and saying, how do we stop this? They're a real force at this moment in time, and I just think that the league is very, very tight. They're ticking along nicely. The manager will be quite happy with what he's seeing and what they're doing. And see if they get in the top six. That's a massive achievement for me. I think it's a huge step forward for the club.
Thank you very much to Thomas. But Ben, who's on the other line, would be more than entitled to say they're not in the League Cup final and we are. Don't forget what happened at Hampden. Ben is a St Mirren fan. Happy with the league win today though, Ben, ahead of that final?
Yeah, I was delighted. It was brilliant to see. Long time coming, of course, but we haven't been playing that bad. It's just but obviously you get confidence from today going into next week. And my point was really that I think a lot of it today was you tried to change things up a bit. Started Richard King, which meant you could put Alec Gogic in the midfield, which gives a bit of extra dig. So I suppose that gives a lot to think about for next week, because do we do that against Celtic? Probably yes, I would go with that, but just wait to see what the panel thought.
Well, he's your pal from the school gates,
yeah.
So
you know, very, very, very well. Good
very,
player.
very, very well.
Very, very well indeed. Good player. Listen, he's one of these players that he can. I think he played a lot of his football with Hibs in the middle of the park in Hamilton. So he's one of these players that can play there, or he can play at the back. He can play in a 4. He can play in a 3. He's a very, very good player. Good player to have about. I totally agree. I thought it was so important for St Mirren to get a result today, going into the cup final next week. Gives them that little bit of confidence. I thought they showed a bit of character up at Pittodrie. That would have been a good confidence booster for them as well. They've carried that on today with a good result at home, and they'll feel a bit better about themselves going to face Celtic at Hampden.
I think it's a completely free hit for St Mirren at Hampden.
Cup finals are ever free hits, though, truly.
Well, because of the circumstances, Gordon, you know, because people will look at Celtic and say, well, automatically Celtic are the favourites. Wilfred Nancy dare not lose a cup final. Absolutely dare not lose a cup final at the end of his first week as manager. And St Mirren get the free hit.
How do you feel about that though, Ben? Because I've kind of been, any time I remember, to make it about Motherwell again, just because personal experience, Motherwell reached 2 cup finals, both against Celtic, but they were Brendan Rodgers Celtic and they were at the top of their game, and it felt really difficult. But you must feel like you've got a bit of a chance. If you're going to have a chance against a Celtic in the final, you must be feeling alright about this one, no?
Well, I not that they were like they were last season, but yeah. No, I mean, totally underdogs, of course. But yeah, I'm actually quite relaxed about it, because like every time, even if we lose, then I'm just going to think to myself all the time these days, well, Scotland qualified for the World Cup, so just boost. So
that's one way of looking at it. I do like that.
But obviously I'll be upset at the time, but like I'll just think of that and I'll make me feel happy again.
Ben, put it the other way. St Mirren win the cup and Scotland beat Brazil with John McGinn and Kenny McLean and all the ex-St Mirren players in the team. Seriously, aim high.
Oh, no. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? I was saying to your producer, I'm booked up to go to the World Cup next year to Vancouver, because I wasn't that fussed about all the hassle about trying to find out where Scotland are. I just want to go and join the party, and my friend's brother lives in Vancouver, so we're going over there for a few days and just joining the fan zones, etc. It'll be great.
Nice.
That's what I said to you, that the migration of people will be staggering. Ben just wants to be part of the party, as he said there. And many people will be like that, because the ticket pricing may make it impossible for them to go to the games. But the migration of people from Scotland will be on an unprecedented level.
Yeah, again, touching back on the cup final in St Mirren, I never think it's a free hit for any team that gets to a cup final. I think what St Mirren won't want to happen is the opportunity just to pass them by. Mm-hmm. This is a huge opportunity for the players, for the club. They've worked so hard to get there. Listen, anything can happen in football, anything can happen in finals, so they'll just be hoping that the opportunity doesn't pass them by. I genuinely think they've got a good chance, because as we spoke about, Celtic aren't in really inspiring form at this moment in time, aren't unbeatable. So if St Mirren can build on this confidence from today, it's a big win for them. They get their game plan right, how they approach the game. They've got a chance, absolutely got a chance.
Especially when they've run Celtic so close in the league this season. They get Hampden, but they actually ran Celtic close at Celtic Park, not only
first game of the season,
not only in Paisley.
Yeah. Well, look, cup finals can go either way. we all agree that Celtic will go in firm favourites. Of that, there's no doubt. But as you touched on earlier, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a full week of preparing for it, or would you rather have Celtic's fixtures coming up? Hearts tomorrow, obviously Roma Thursday, and then getting into the cup final. I still fancy Celtic to win it, but I feel that St Mirren getting in with 4 points out of 6 in the last 2 games will feel a bit better about themselves.
If you add Marcello Saraci to the Celtic injury list, and he's got a hamstring problem and is, I would imagine, has no chance of playing in the cup final, you're talking about a Celtic team minus half a dozen who would be first picks.
Ben, well, thank you. Enjoy your week if you can, the build up to the cup final. We've got a lot to happen before then, of course, because Celtic play twice. That's St Mirren done, but Celtic tomorrow and then in midweek. So 01419511025, get your calls in, whether you are like Ben did a bit of both, didn't he? He's looking back on today's action, previewing the World Cup. Big game tonight, big game tomorrow, loads to get your teeth into. So give us a call and we'll speak to you next.
Are you one of the 1.5 million UK customers that have used MedExpress for your healthcare journey? If not, accessing treatments for sexual health is now easier than ever. You don't need to visit your GP or pharmacy. Just complete a short online consultation to find the right treatment for you. We'll send your treatment directly to your door, delivered to you in discreet packaging with ongoing support from our experienced UK-based medical team. Take the first step towards managing your health concerns with confidence. Visit medexpress.co.uk to learn more.
At Lidl, there's always a reason for Christmas cheer. Like switching this week's big shop from Asda to Lidl and saving £20. See the shop at lidl.co.uk/usave and pick up all your favourites. Lidl, more to value. Prices checked 1st of the 12th 25. Asda also sell other products. See online for more details.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell, Gordon Dalziel, all here, all waiting for your calls. So get in touch. You don't need me to tell you. The list is obvious. Games today, games tonight, game tomorrow, World Cup draw, and so on. Sharon is on the line. How are you, Sharon?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thank you very much.
What makes you fantastic?
I got my flights and my hotel booked for Philadelphia at 1 o'clock this morning.
So you've just gone for it. You're just going Philadelphia.
I'm just going to Philadelphia. Is kind of halfway in between everything, isn't it? So I thought I'll get in there before the clamour the night for tickets. And so my daughter was at the other end of the phone at her house. I'm disabled, so I'm flying first class. Never flown first class, but I need a reclining bed for my chronic pain. And my daughter and son-in-law are my carers, so they're in the cheap seats and they're going.
Sharon, this sounds like the trip of a life. So, are you in? What are your dates?
Yeah, I'm going on the 16th.
Right.
So I'm hoping to get possibly tickets for the Morocco game, and then head down to Miami, so Atlanta.
Superb.
And outside the
chance.
So
absolutely. So the Friday one, the Morocco's the big one for you because you're going to Philadelphia. That's guaranteed. So that's the game that is in Philadelphia or Boston. We're about to find out, and you figure if it is Boston, that's fine. You can get there.
Aye. It's only a few hours, so we've got just a Great Western hotel, £80 a night, bed and breakfast for.
Great. Can't argue that. Sharon's like a travel agent here. I'm absolutely loving this. There's something about that, genuinely, right? See, when you hear normal people like Sharon, knowing where they're flying to, when they're going, that makes it quite real for me. I think that's something that adds an extra layer of, my goodness, it's actually happening.
I keep on telling you, Sharon is representative of the fact that the biggest migration of people ever to leave Scotland for an international tournament will take place in June.
I'm a bit jealous that people have managed to confirm it. Sharon, I don't know if this is... It's not going to ruin it because you've got the plan in place anyway, but it's gone the other way. I think I'm looking at it. I think it's just been announced that the Morocco game's in Boston, right? So it's not in Philadelphia, I don't think. But you'll make it there fine, won't you?
Well, we're in New Jersey, so it's only about a 4-hour drive to New Jersey.
So you've got, let's see, so I think, right, I'm just trying confirmation on this. No New York. So Boston twice
Oh,
right, okay.
But that gives you then a real scope to be based there, obviously. So Haiti against Boston, Haiti in Boston at 9 p.m. local time.
What's that here?
Go on then.
2 a.m, is it not? Have I figured that out right? Let me double check then. Make sure I've got that right. But Morocco also in Boston, 6 p.m. local, I think, and the Brazil game's in Miami. Imagine Brazil,
only one game I'm going to
in Miami. Oh my goodness!
Only one game I'm going. And Sharon, if I'm going with Super Scoreboard, I'll see you in first class.
You will not. Do you know what it'll be? It'll be me, you and Shug, Cash for Kids, row the Atlantic. That's what it'll be.
Yeah, probably.
I can honestly see it now. Sharon, you enjoy that when it comes around. Stay in touch before then, will you?
Yeah, more
Brilliant.
Scotland.
Absolutely. That sounds magnificent. Don't really let Sharon down there by that kind of.
There's no negative news. Come on. There's no.
Nah,
negative
there isn't.
news.
Of course, there isn't. But 2 a.m.
Is that
2 a.m. kickoff here?
That's for what?
Everybody's going to be up. How cool is that? In a perverse way, like, it's not ideal. Everybody will be up at 2 a.m. watching that.
Yeah.
So June 13th, Scotland versus Haiti, Boston, kick-off 2 a.m.
Great.
When's the Brazil one? What time?
Kick-off here, 11.
It's okay.
That's alright.
No, at night.
Yeah.
Take that.
It's not ideal, is it?
Oh,
no, it's
party
fine.
time.
So similar, Scotland, Morocco, Boston's 11
What happens
11
then?
o'clock.
What
do we do with Super Scoreboard at those times, I wonder? Anyway, that's for someone else to plan. And if you're listening, bosses, sales execs, get phoning, get working on this. We want to go, so get it sorted.
Glasgow District Council.
I'll give you an hour.
Inundated with requests to extend the licensing hours.
Yes.
Yep.
And that will be
all over Scotland.
Yeah, massive for the economy.
Yeah, be brilliant for the hospitality industry again.
We got a wee public holiday the next day for that first one. What do you think?
I think there'll be a lot of sick days, shall I say, on round about them dates, I would say.
Yeah, so look, it's about the only thing that's gone slightly against us. We're happy to be there, get terrific opposition, terrific venues. There was going to be just ever so slightly the kick-off times at 2 a.m. and 2:11 p.m.'s UK time. So if you've got young kids, as Cammy says, going to need to speak nicely to the teachers. I'm sure they'll be, because remember, when you were younger, maybe the teacher would wheel in the TV and all that sort of stuff. That's not going to be an issue here. But Hugh, you've been the most, to my surprise, you've been the most positive about the World Cup qualification. Nothing can dampen your spirit over it, including those kick-off times.
No, nothing at all. Because I can envisage what Glasgow will be like, and I say Glasgow because that's where we are. We're based here. Glasgow will be alive. 2 o'clock in the morning. I know my city. It can't be any other way. People will simply not go to bed and find out the score when they get up. Glasgow will be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And the other kick-off times fit that pattern. People will go out for the night, and part of the night will be extended licensing hours, and it will be rock and roll.
I think we're all looking forward to that. I've got to say, I was listening to Sharon, you could actually hear the excitement in her voice.
Yeah.
You know, she's got one of those calendars she'll just be ticking off every day, counting the minutes and the days down. Brilliant. And listen, she will not be alone. Looking forward to it. It's so exciting.
Boston's a brilliant city as well.
I've never been.
I went
Is
a
that
few
where
years
the film
ago.
Cheers?
Sam Malone's pub,
We actually went to that because it's like a kind of like a landmark or tourist attraction or whatever, and then we got there, took a picture and realised that Cheers is a bit before our time, meant nothing to us, and it was a complete waste of time, but other people would enjoy it. But it's a great city. I think that'll work really, really. I'd have loved the glamour of New York. I think that would have been amazing, but I think Boston will suit that. I can just imagine it. I think it's going to be perfect.
I think it'll be amazing. Tartan Army in Boston. I think, you just look at the fixtures. It's a base, as you say. They can settle there. They can enjoy the city. From a personal point of view, I've actually got a friend who used to live in Annan who lives in Boston. So, listen, amazing. So,
I spoke to him in 15 years, but
he's my brother's age, so he's more my brother's friend. But listen, I'm sure a lot of people will be leaning on him. But I just think it's going to be an unbelievable experience for everyone that goes and enjoys it. And as you say, you can tell Sharon the excitement, the memories that she's going to make for a lifetime. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Did you say, Hugh, actually, it's something I hadn't really thought of is what it will be like here.
Yeah.
This country will be transformed, and whether that is because people need to stay up late or not, I'm actually, we've spent so much time focusing on what it's going to be like over there. I wonder what it's going to be like here.
Yeah, because if you've waited 28 years, then people will demand that it is celebrated, acknowledged. So there'll be all manner of fan zones. As I say, Glasgow and the west of Scotland simply will not go to bed. It's just not an option. This will be the equivalent of New Year. Yeah. Each night will be the equivalent of New Year's Eve. And sore heads in the morning, people worry about that when the morning comes.
But what happens now is the planning starts. Now we know the times. Yeah. Now we know obviously the venues. But the planning for here, as you say, licensing, fan zones. I'm expecting big things, certainly from Glasgow and everywhere else. Edinburgh, I'm pretty sure they'll have fan zones absolutely everywhere, and it'll be exciting.
Will we buy a pub from them?
Everywhere.
It's not the Rugby World Cup.
No,
come on.
Will we buy a pub from them?
No.
Pop-up pub.
Pop-up pub.
There you go. You two
Me and you.
Cammy's a bit of a property guru. He could sort out the building, and you can sort the alcohol.
I'll the entertainment.
Oh dear me.
I'll get
Jim,
the telly.
Jim's in Springburn. How are you, Jim?
I'm great, Gordon. I'd like to say, I remember the 1978 World Cup, and not every Scotland game was like 1 o'clock at night, but the telly used to shut off about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then during the school holidays, you could all sit and enjoy the football. I was 14 at the time, so I enjoyed it and had a great time.
Is that right, Hugh? You remember that?
Oh, very much so. Everyone gets involved. 1978, I had primary school children, buying them Scotland strips, going through the whole drama of it all. Everything. The world's a much changed place, Jim, since 1978, and it's easier now to have late night celebrations, late night events, and that will have to be the case. So it will be even bigger than 78 and Ali MacLeod and all that happened then. And
remember too well.
Yeah.
Remember at Hampden with the bus, Hugh?
Oh, yeah.
Hampden, waving them off to the World Cup.
Charge people to get in?
Yeah.
To wave at a bus.
Jim, what do you make of this one then? We've just heard the first two games in Boston, last one in Miami. We've got a 2 a.m. and 2:11 p.m. kickoffs. What do you make of it?
Will it not help with the heat as well? Now they're saying about the heat. Will it be a wee bit less humidity or anything like that? It could get clear. But I think there shouldn't be an excuse whether the heat be there or not, because it's both the same sets of teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point. Again, I have to hammer home the point. There's no point in complaining about anything. After a 28-year wait, you're going to a country that's warm. Get on with it.
I love your positivity, Hugh. Now I see it. All those years of negativity stored up for this one moment, and I'm here for it. Thank you, Jim. Robbie's on the other line. Robbie, how are you?
Good evening, Gordon. Good evening, panel. How are you doing, guys? All right?
Good, Robbie.
If there's any bets with this World Cup, I'm going to put a bet on that Hugh Keevins, with that 2 a.m. game and other games as well, he'll be sitting there in his tartan jammies, draped in his Scotland flag. There you go. That's what I'm putting a bet on, definitely. How you think? You all right?
Well, you know, Robbie, when the kids were growing up, and they were in front of the television when we played Peru, I remember we had the whole family. And the kids were in Scotland tops and all this, and lost 2-0. We completely underestimated Peru. So the kids then learned about psychological scarring, and they now will look forward to this, and they'll be taking their kids to the World Cup final. I know they are, because I've heard all the stories about the bookings and everything. So there's no downside. As I say, if you wait 28 years for something, you better enjoy it, because you never know. I always say to people, I'd have had a big night out in Saint Etienne in 1998 if I'd known that was the last time you'd see Scotland at a World Cup final for nearly 3 decades. I'd have had a bigger night out than I had.
Have you got tartan jammies, man?
No.
We could get you some.
Yeah. I think it'll be that big an occasion. I think you'll be sitting there with a kilt on.
I had kilt on once in my life for my daughter's wedding. And you remember Bobby Williamson, the great co-manager?
Yeah. Bobby,
I had to say to him at the reception, if you don't shut
it's
up...
It's about drafty in here.
Was he criticising your kilt wearing?
He laughed himself silly the whole day. But anyway, it will be just sensational. I mean, we are now talking here, early December, about something that happens mid-June next year. And Robbie is getting excited about it, and Sharon has got her flights booked, and
and accommodation, £8 a night, Best Western. Don't forget it.
That's a great deal, isn't it?
Oh, wonderful. Robbie, I know you've got Celtic on your mind as well. A lot going into this game tomorrow, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, Gordon. And I was just going to say that I've got a feeling that Celtic will win, but I'm really, really concerned about Hearts, because at the end of the day, they've won one of their last 6 games, a good few draws in there, but I'm really concerned that this is going to be their biggest game since their last game against Celtic, and I think they might be up for it. I think Derek McInnes is awfully good at setting his team up and really, really frustrating the bigger teams, especially when it comes to Celtic Park. You know, he's quite a shrewd manager, and to the other side of that, for the Celtic point of view, is I think that with Wilfred Nancy coming in, I ken it's only a couple of training sessions he's going to have before he goes into the game, but I think these players are really, really going to be up for the game because of the new manager bounce. So it's a double-edged sword for me. I think the Celtic will sneak the game, but I think Hearts, even though they're coming in here with poor form, they're going to be coming into this game.
Robbie, the biggest problem, as you know, the biggest problem of all is that Celtic's injury list is huge. And the same players are being asked to go to the same well every Saturday or Sunday or midweek. And performance levels are dropping game by game for that reason. Whether it was Martin O'Neill or Wilfred Nancy, as it will be tomorrow, the list of players unavailable.
Do you think they could get something, Hugh, Hearts?
Oh yeah, without
Do you?
Oh yeah.
No, I've got to say, I think with the fact that the new manager coming in, it does, there's no doubt about it. As you're a player, you're sitting there thinking, I need to impress here, because he's going to have different ideas. He's going to get a January window, and they're probably going to bring in a right few players. So I want to make a big impression. Hearts haven't been the greatest of form, although you would take it all day long if you were a Jambo, sitting top of the league the now with Celtic, going to Celtic Park tomorrow. I fancy Celtic big time tomorrow.
I think, it is a dangerous game for Celtic. Hearts have got strikers. Braga's a great player. Shanklin, we know, can score goals at the top end of the pitch. I think you're right, Daz. I think the Celtic players will be sitting in that changing room before the game going, this is an opportunity for me to show what I can do for the new manager and for the club, because I think there will be big changes. There'll be changes getting made in the January window and then in the summer. So listen, these players need to perform. I think Celtic might just get over the line tomorrow, but it's going to be a tough game for them.
They need Dyson Maeda like never before. I'm assuming that his eye injury has cleared up sufficiently well for him to play.
You've got Hatate hinting a bit of form, Ingles hinting a bit of form.
Yeah.
You've got McGregor in the middle of the park. So
Trusty and Scales have done exceptionally well.
Yeah, they've got a good goalkeeper. When you look,
the problem is fullback. No, fullback is the biggest problem Celtic have.
Because it got lost in it. Obviously, the other night was about Martin O'Neill's farewell. It was about going joint top, but Sarachi started the game, had to come off early. Kieran Tierney's been, painkilling injections? He's clearly not firing. He's now going to have to play again when it wasn't the plan to bring him on as early the other night. So there are issues there. Alistair Johnson's obviously miles away, so that'll be shared between Donovan and...
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Derek does approach it, because you said there, Hearts' strength is probably getting the ball to their front to score goals. So I don't know if they're going to sit with this low block and try and hit on the counter attack. I think Hearts might come to Celtic tomorrow, fancy the challenge and have a go with the personnel they've got. And I think if they do that, I just think Celtic will get better players, and especially at home.
Thank you, Robbie. 0141 951 1025. How are you Rangers fans feeling? Maybe heading down to Kilmarnock tonight. Give us all your thoughts there, and we'll recap that breaking news about the confirmed destinations and times for Scotland at the World Cup. We'll speak to you next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Into the final part of what's been a quick show already. So much happening, which makes it go quicker. Big games today, more to come tonight and then tomorrow. And confirmation of that news, Scotland's first game against Haiti will be in Boston. It will be a 2 a.m. kick-off here. That time, local time to us. The next game is also in Boston. Against Morocco. It is an 11 p.m. kick-off, and in the third game, how do you like the sound of Scotland taking on Brazil in Miami? Again though, an 11 p.m. kick-off. So any thoughts there, get them in. We're going to start hearing from today's managers as well. Let's go. David Martindale saw his side lose 3-0 at Motherwell.
I feel the first half, the goal, bar the goal, there's a couple of counters we shoot ourselves in the foot, but we know they're good at that. That's kind of flipping it in behind. We know they're good at that. But we created a couple of good chances ourselves. I think Teddy's got a good chance. Chris had one at the back post with a header, and Smithy had one that went by the keeper's right hand post. They were very, very similar, but they score theirs. So they get one that drops to the edge. We kind of run out, turn our back in it. You done 1-0 down, we kind of tweak it slightly. And I thought it was a wee bit more even at that point. You've got to give something up here because they're good at building the game. But I thought the first half, Mazo and Smithy were in central areas too early, and the game became easy for them. But second half, we got them a wee bit wider. We managed to stretch their back line, managed to get a couple of penetrating runs in behind, and then we gave away a horrific goal. Now if people are saying it's a pen, no a pen, it's soft. I've not watched it back. I'm not really interested, so I need to stop talking about VAR. But how it leads to the entry into the box is poor from our point of view, poor from a coaching point of view, because we worked on it all week. December's going to be a really big month for us as a group. Get to January with as many points as we can physically get, and then strengthen, because we need players in the building. That's after 15 games and where we are points wise. I think it's evident that we need to bring boys into the building to help the group.
So disappointed David Martindale. What about someone who I'm assuming is happier? He's got a big week ahead, Stephen Robinson.
I think they continued the character from the Aberdeen result. Football's a strange game because it's probably the least control we had in a game in our run that we haven't had wins. And we end up scoring. We score at really, really good times. Wing back to wing back we've been preaching it, saying, we need more people, we need more runs. So credit to the centre forwards, to Mika and Jonah. They make the space for it. When Dan comes on, he makes the space for it as well. So there are big things that we've worked on in terms of getting into areas and clean sheets. We rode in luck a little bit as well, which we have had zero off lately. So it was important. We set a run. We said we want to go on a run now after Aberdeen. It's important to follow that up with a win. And of course, there's apprehension around the stadium. There's apprehension from everybody. So it's just about getting over the line. And they showed great character. I thought Alex Gogic and Miguel Freckelman were outstanding today. The two of them defensively, and give us that real battling qualities. And a really tight game, not a lot between them.
You said after this, you ban talk of the final. Can everybody talk about it now?
But they can talk about it now, yeah. I tried to ban. I wish I hadn't banned it because I hadn't won since. So I thought everyone was playing for a place in the final, but they obviously weren't with our results.
Is it new suits and things like that?
No, the boys don't want them. We've given them the choice. I've got a new suit. I took the option from Keith. Yeah, I'll take one, yeah.
Yes, you've got to cash in and get the new free suit, don't you?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. The players don't want them. So I'm agreeing with him. If I'm the manager, I'm up and getting a new suit.
Stephen Robertson sounds like a massive weight has been lifted from his shoulders, and he's clearly thinking, great draw at Pittodrie for me, good win at home today, free week. On top of everything else, Celtic have to play a big European tie on a Thursday night and have hardly any recovery time before a cup final. Stephen Robinson sounds as if he's much keener on the idea of the final now than he was a fortnight ago.
Yeah, he's in a different place. Because since he beat Motherwell in the semi-final, I think they'd only picked up about 1 point or something. It was a big week for him up at Aberdeen, bit of character, and he took a lot from that. They've kicked on today. As you say, Hugh, they've got a big week next week. They can relax, they can do their work, they can just do everything leading up to the cup final. Celtic, on the other hand, they've got games, and sometimes that works for you, momentum. If Celtic, under this new manager, all of a sudden he hits the ground running, gets a result tomorrow, top of the league, gets a good performance against Roma, they'll be getting into the cup final flying. So it can work both ways.
Okay, let's turn our attentions to tonight's kick-off in just over 2 hours' time, so it's a bit early for team news. Give us your thoughts, former Kilmarnock and Rangers goalkeeper Cammy Bell.
Yeah, listen, I think it's an intriguing game. Kilmarnock, we know, haven't been on a great run this season. They've had a couple of decent draws, which will give them confidence. They're missing a few players at the moment, but certainly I think when you look at that draw at Tynecastle, I know it was a last-minute goal from Bruce Anderson, latched on to probably a goalkeeping error, but again they found themselves in the game, they kept themselves into the game, and they get a reward from it. For me, when you look at Rangers just now, they've had a really poor performance against Falkirk, 0-0, then they've had a draw which they were better in up at Tannadice, 2 each, but they're conceding poor goals, which has been a theme of their season. But this for me is a must-win game for Rangers. They go in with a huge amount of pressure on their shoulders tonight, that they need to go to Kilmarnock and win, and it's never an easy place to go.
I've got to say, I agree with what Cammy's saying there, but you're going down to Kilmarnock. It isn't an easy place because everybody highlights the pitch, but Kilmarnock are really poor just now. I know they got a good result against Hearts, but I fancy Rangers strongly tonight. I really do. I think they'll have enough in their locker to get down there and beat Kilmarnock.
The biggest accusation levelled against Rangers is that they seem to lack the fight required. Well, they'll have to fight in Ayrshire tonight because Kilmarnock are desperate for points. Danny Rule, been here a short time, but he'll know this, that the crowd will turn, and they'll turn badly on him unless things improve at this moment in time. So it's a big night for Danny Rule and those Rangers players. I tend to think that, with Brad Lyons missing for Kilmarnock because of suspension, injury problems, I tend to think that they are not strong enough to get anything out of Rangers tonight.
His team line will be interesting, Hugh, Rangers, because they've got 3 centre forwards that can't score goals. You wonder who he's got to go with tonight.
Well, whoever it is, goals come from other places. It happened midweek at Tannadice from an unexpected source. I just think there's so much about this for Danny Rule, for the Rangers players. They dare not come away from Kilmarnock with anything other than the full 3 points.
I feel like it's hard to know kind of specifically what to expect or what even you're looking for from the Rangers team at the moment, Cammy, because the initial impact of Danny Rule was to make things a bit tighter at the back. That came out the window at times. They then were their level of creativity was on the floor. It was like a mid-table stat that you would expect from certainly not Rangers. But then they did create a lot more during the week. But then the defending went out the window, as Hugh says, and Gordon. No one's really performing well. Maybe Mikey Moore can come back, but yeah, it's kind of hard to know what it is that the Rangers fans are hoping to even be excited about tonight.
Yeah, because it's been so inconsistent, and again, even the short spell that the manager's been in, he's seen the inconsistency, as you mentioned. They tightened up the back for a little bit. Then they started lacking creativity and not creating chances. They're not taking chances, but then they start to lose slack goals again. So I think they've got to keep a clean sheet. First and foremost, they need to not give away individual errors that cost goals, because they've been doing that recently. So their centre halves need to be on the ball tonight, because again, if you've got Bruce Anderson up front for Kilmarnock, you'll not give them a rest. He'll be after them all the time, expecting that mistake to happen. And then you've got to look at your strikers. The strikers need to start scoring goals. They really do. Whoever he plays up top tonight, they really need to start finding the back of net, because they can't just keep on relying on Tavernier scoring a goal or it coming from one of the midfielders. They need to start providing. Mikey Moore is a positive, because I really did think he was coming on to a game before his injury.
Right, come on then, leave us with your predictions for tonight at Rugby Park.
I'll go 2-0 Rangers.
I'll go 2-1 Rangers.
I'm going 1-0 Rangers.
Okay, and tomorrow, top of the table clash, Wilfried Nancy's first game in charge of Celtic.
I'll go 1-1.
2-1 Celtic.
I'll go 1-3.
There we go. That is us. A busy day across Scottish football. We've got the excitement of a World Cup to officially look forward to. It was always official, but now we know where we're going, when we're going, who we're playing. Get the planning started. Enjoy your Saturday night of researching flight times and paths and cheapest airfares and free cancellation hotels and all the rest of it. Enjoy that. The GBX is up next. You could have that on in the background, and the guys are back tomorrow. Huge day of Scottish football ahead. Have a good one.